Is there some disinfectant that's needed with the FBI? Is there some that's needed with the House Intelligence Committee? It is deeply troubling to me, the diametrically opposed positions of Republicans and Democrats on this issue. It shows that this committee in particular cannot function in a bipartisan manner to get at the truth, the core truth. And it's disturbing to me. Look, after 30 years in the FBI, I hate to see the FBI's reputation be damaged.
Right. Unless they deserve it. Look, I didn't love my news agencies, the news getting damaged, but you saw some of the negative things that have come out over the last 3 years. But, people got to be, the audience is smart enough to say, because one person does something, it doesn't mean that other person's bad. So if Andy McCabe is in the tank because his wife is taking money from Terry McAuliffe, who's best buddies with Clinton, and that investigation can't make you happy, and then the Washington Post, of all places, finds out that Andy McCabe, who is the deputy director of the FBI and was the acting for a while, knew in September about the Anthony Weiner emails of Hillary Clinton's on his laptop and did nothing for 3 weeks. And the inspector general wants that answer, not Brian Kilmeade or Devin Nunes. They want that answer. And this is a guy who evidently, according to reports, friendly with Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, who could not be more anti-Trump. How do we know that? Their undisputed text messages have revealed their sentiment. So if you're President Trump, you're going to say, wait a second, I just want to be president. Not only do I have a hard time becoming president, who is working against me and who maybe put in some intelligence IEDs after I got the job?
Well, look, I am going all the way back to the beginning of that. I agree that, to me, the truth presumably lies in the hands of the inspector general. And I think there is there ought to be with him and his staff, a great sense of urgency to get to the conclusion.
April. It's coming in April.
Yeah. To me, that's way too far out in the distance. My supposition is that Chris Wray talked to the inspector general, saw something, got a read ahead, saw something substantive that caused him to walk Andy over to terminal leave, to leave the FBI
Andy
prematurely
McCabe.
Before Andy McCabe. That's my supposition, that Ray saw something factual and he made his decision on that basis. But I think that Inspector General report cannot come out quickly enough to tell us what is true, what's real, and what's been made up and constructed to take this cloud off of those thousands of FBI agents who aren't involved in this, who are doing their job every day, and to bring some clarity to.
But Ron, what I have heard, and you tell me if I'm wrong, I've talked to a lot of people who weren't in management, didn't achieve, maybe get to the level you're at. They want to get answers too. They don't like what they've seen.
They do.
And they don't mind sunlight on it because it doesn't reflect on the New York office or the Chicago office. They have nothing to do with management.
That's true. I've have friends, both retired and on duty, and there are plenty of guys on duty that are saying, "What the heck was going on?" They want to know as well because that they're not conducting internal investigations themselves. They're waiting to learn from the IG just like the rest of us.
Ron, lastly,
they certainly want to know.
Right, on a separate lane in my mind, I'm telling my listeners, I'm not blending the two. Robert Mueller, he's a guy you work for, well. You were concerned with the amount of Democratic interrogators and investigators that he decided to hire. As this has progressed, how do you feel he's handling things? What do you hear about what he's going to be producing and when?
I think Bob Mueller in this situation and the Mueller I saw at the FBI, I think he has thick windows over there. He is aware of what's going on the street. He's aware of all this chatter, but he's got his head down in the job. They are proceeding forward. And I think we have some significant unknowns here that, are the wild cards. What, in my estimation, Mike Flynn, got a pretty sweet deal. He took a guilty plea to one count of 1,001, and with his record of service to America, I think is likely to walk away with no jail time. So the question for me is, what does Mike Flynn know that is of such value to Bob Mueller that gets him one count when, we've heard, information about possible FARA violations, other potential violations of law. We don't know where all the money went with Mike Flynn. So my guess is Mueller could probably have had him on a lot more, and he got one count. So why the trade-off? What is Mike Flynn giving?
Right.
Same thing with
Papadopoulos and Gates
Papadopoulos
and
the guilty plea. What does Mueller know that none of us does so far? And we can see how discreetly he's conducting his work. We learned last week of a number of high-level interviews that had already been done. They're in the can. And so is Mueller's focus now, is the lead part of this obstruction of justice, or is the lead part of it, some sort of collusion with Russia? We're not seeing much evidence of either.
Gotcha.
Although the obstruction piece seems to be louder.
He is Ron Hosko. I know you're conflicted about all this, but you always provide great, honest analysis. Ron, thank you.
Always a pleasure, Brian.
John Roberts at the White House next.
It's Brian Kilmeade.
I'll bet you don't spend much time thinking about your circulation, but you really should. Here's why. Good circulation is crucial to energy, crucial to stamina. It gets oxygen and nutrients flowing throughout your body so you can exercise longer, do more everyday activities, and recover more quickly. So, what can you do to promote healthy circulation? Drink Super Beets. Super Beets promotes the body's own natural ability to produce healthier circulation for increased energy, increased stamina, all day long. Only Super Beets is made from beets, grown to exacting standards, that's concentrated into things they call superfood crystals. If you want to improve your circulation, which is where this whole conversation started, call 800-541-2516 or go to briansbeets.com. With your first order, get another 30-day supply of Super Beets for free, plus indicator strips to see how Super Beets is working for you, and free shipping too. Call 800-541-2516 or go to briansbeets.com today, 800-541-2516, or go to briansbeets.com today.
Do you have an idea for an invention or new product? Do you think companies would be interested in your idea? Do you want to try to get a patent? Then call InventHelp now. InventHelp keeps your idea confidential and explains every step of the invention process. We create professional materials representing your idea and submit it to companies who are looking for new ideas. We have more than 9,000 companies who have agreed to review ideas in confidence. If a company shows interest in manufacturing your invention, we can negotiate on your behalf. We have helped over 10,000 clients receive patents. We also offer services including 3D modeling and animation demonstrating your idea, prototyping services, and we use state-of-the-art technology to show InventHelp client ideas to additional companies. Join the thousands of people just like you who chose InventHelp to pursue their idea. We are experienced. We are working for you. We are InventHelp.
Call us for free information at 1-800-545-0785. That's 1-800-545-0785. Again, 1-800-545-0785.
Very topical. International news.
Keeping you informed and up to date.
U.S. news, world news, everything. Still considered my local news.
St. Louis's home of Fox News.
Get my news quickly, and it's much easier to get it
on the radio. FM News Talk 97.1.
Gravity is only a suggestion. Physics is just a theory. Impossible is merely an opinion. Monster Jam, celebrating 25 years of adrenaline-charged family entertainment and selling out stadiums across the country. Tickets are on sale now. Monster Jam returns with 2 huge shows coming to the Don't Let America Center March 3rd and 4th. Don't miss out. Lock in your seats today. For tickets and show details, visit monsterjam.com today.
Here, Chicky, y'all, this is Gentry Trotter of HeatUpSt.Louis.org, and I'm out and about looking for more fresh eggs for February the 9th, so y'all in Illinois and Missouri can rise and shine at participating Hardee's. Y'all get a fresh sausage and egg or egg biscuit for only $1, and 100% of your dough will help some needy neighbors with their utility bills and keep them warm. Have a heart and heat a home on February the 9th at Hardee's. It's HeatUpSt.Louis.org.
If you have retirement questions, you can bet Marvin Mitchell probably has the answer. Join him every Sunday afternoon at 1 for Rethinking Retirement. With his years of experience, Marvin can help take the guesswork out of your retirement planning. Rethinking Retirement is your source for all things retirement, from how current events can affect your savings to strategies to maximize your retirement income and everything in between. Don't miss Rethinking Retirement with Marvin Mitchell every Sunday afternoon at 1 on FM News Talk 97.1.
Hey, St. Louis, it's Brian Kilmeade.
This hour, Kilmeade brought to you by RP Lumber. Best service, best value.
Hey, it's Mark Cox. Right after Kilmeade, it's the Mark Cox Show, noon to 3 on FM News Talk 97.1.
The memo came over day before yesterday. They're slicing and dicing it, looking at it so that we know what it means and what it understands.
Did you see it?
I did.
What do you think?
It'll be released here pretty quick, I think, and the whole world can see it.
And after that, in comes the FBI, and they objected, we understand, if the timeline's correct. And then they made some changes to it, and that upset the ranking member, Adam Schiff. And would we get this memo as early as today? One person may know, if anyone does, and that's John Roberts. He's the man out and about town. Not only that, when he has some time, he gives us all the information not fit for print from the White House. Hey, John.
Brian, good morning. Hey, a little Green Day to get the day going. I love that.
Yeah, I know. Get you pumped up.
It did. Got me pumped up this morning. I'm pumped up, ready to go.
So when I talked to John Kelly around 9:30 yesterday Eastern, it looked like it was coming out. What changed?
No. I mean, it's always been scheduled to come out today. I think that Kelly was just sort of giving you a.
No, but a lot changed since, right? A lot of objections and revisions.
No. What happened? What we know is what happened Tuesday afternoon. 5 career FBI personnel, some of them from counterintelligence, came over to look at the memo that had been transmitted from the Hill. Now, the memo that was looked at by the FBI director on Sunday night, and then by some of the folks who came over to the White House on Tuesday, on Monday, was different than the one that Kelly had in his possession that he showed to these 5 members of the FBI on Tuesday. And that's the version that had some changes, some edits that were put in by Devin Nunes, but Nunes claims that those were not significant changes. And what I'm told by White House officials is that the version that the FBI looked at on Tuesday, they didn't have the same degree of problems with that Ray and the other folks who looked at the one on the Hill on Monday did. So the White House is a little confused as to why that statement from the FBI came out yesterday. And now you've got Schiff who's weighing in on the changes that Devin Nunes made, but I'm told that we may see this thing by noon today, Brian.
Wow, so that's new. So listen, John, stop me if I'm wrong here. I might be a little slow, and there's evidence to prove that. But the memo comes over.
Not as slow as I.
Right. Well, the memo comes over. Why would it be changed at all if you say, I thought after the FBI guys looked at it, the 5, they looked at it and said, I got a problem with this. And then the chief of staff said, all right, let me change it with Devin Nunes. What are your objections? Figure it was intelligence related. But you're saying that's not the case.
No. I mean, the way that I understand it is that there was a memo that was looked at by Chris Wray, the FBI director, on Sunday night, and then some staff members from the FBI on Monday. And then before it was transmitted to the White House on Monday night or Tuesday morning, there were some edits made. That's what Schiff is complaining about, saying that the version that came to the White House is different than the version that the House Intelligence Committee signed off on. But Nunes is saying those were very minor edits. They had nothing to do with the substance of the text. And then that's what Kelly showed the FBI on Tuesday afternoon before the State of the Union.
So the Mueller investigation moves forward, and the big story today is there's a former spokesperson for the legal team, Mark Corella, who wants to come out and say Hope Hicks tried to bury the Don Jr. email. I'm not sure how this is sourced or what to believe. What do you think?
Well, there's a lot that's leaking out of the Office of Special Counsel. I don't want to say that Corallo leaked this. I've tried to contact him this morning. He's not getting back to me. But here's what I do know, is that the Mueller team has got every email that Hope Hicks ever sent during the campaign, during the transition, during her time at the White House. And so if any of this was out there, the special counsel's office already knows about it. So, folks I'm talking to don't think that whatever he's saying is a big deal.
President kind of mellow, goes out to this retreat, not really doing anything inflammatory. He's trying to let the State of the Union resonate. Is that what you think?
Marinate would sort of be more my assessment of it. What's really strange, Brian, is I remember covering President Clinton, covering President Bush. State of the Union night, we'd be up until midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. Then we'd be at Andrews Air Force Base at 6 a.m. the next day to jump on a plane to fly wherever in the country the president was selling the ideas in the State of the Union.
He's not. He doesn't want to do it. John Roberts, always great. Thanks so much. Brian Kilmeade.
Our values, our foundations, our future.
People are afraid to talk about this. This is insanity.
Laura Ingraham knows this country, and now, every weeknight, she's standing up for all Americans.
This is really thwarting the democracy.
Holding D.C. accountable, taking on the establishment.
People don't need politicians' crocodile tears or their cliches. I take all of this very personally.
Watch The Ingraham Angle.
We're going to pull back the curtain.
Weeknights at 10 Eastern on the Fox News Channel. The people leading our nation.
The president is putting more pressure on Congress.
The decisions shaping our future.
The vote seems to be coming. It appears that the administration is going to do that. There are new questions this week.
No one covers Washington like Brett Baer. Smart D.C. insight, powerful analysis you need.
The big story developing right now.
Watch Special Report with Brett Baer, weeknights at 6 p.m. Eastern, only on the Fox News Channel.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
Hey, Russell Wilson here, and I know how important exercise is.
It's essential. It's essential.
With Play 60, United Way and the NFL are helping kids stay active and play at least 60 minutes a day.
Healthy kids, healthy kids.
But what this place needs is you. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org/play60 because great things happen when we live united.
Donate, donate.
Are you guys going to do that every time?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
KFTK FM, Florissant, KFTK AM East St. Louis, K254CR St. Louis.
Powered by thehomeloanexpert.com.
FM News Talk 97.1.
A shooting in a middle school classroom in Los Angeles. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Police say the situation is under control, but there are injuries. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal is live in L.A.
Lisa, at least 2 people were shot at a middle school west of downtown L.A. here, possibly a boy and a woman. We know one person has been detained and taken into custody, and it may have been a female student who committed the shooting. We watched through aerial footage as kids were taken one by one out of classrooms, detained, patted down, and then returned to the classroom. The 2 victims were taken to hospitals. One of them is reportedly in critical condition, Lisa.
Thanks, Jessica. And there are reports that victim may be a 15-year-old boy. Sources tell Fox News the president will allow the release of a memo believed to show possible FBI misconduct. Fox's Rachel Sutherland is live in Washington.
Lisa, Americans could see the memo as soon as tomorrow. Republican Congressman Bob Goodlatte alleges corruption outlined in the missive goes straight to the top.
The conduct of several people at the highest levels of the FBI.
Fox News has learned President Trump will declassify the memo tomorrow and send it to the House Intelligence Committee for release. A White House spokesperson says the president has read the document. The House Democratic leader is so upset about the pending release that she's called on House Speaker Paul Ryan to remove Congressman Devin Nunes from his post as committee chair. Lisa.
Thanks, Rachel. Right now, the president is in West Virginia addressing lawmakers at a Republican retreat.
Working together, we've accomplished extraordinary things for the American people over the last year. And I really believe this is just the beginning.
Reinforcing themes from his State of the Union address, which Democrats called divisive instead of unifying. Right now, a big rally on Wall Street. The Dow is up 131 points. Fox News. Fair and balanced.
The clock is ticking. Every day you put off buying life insurance can cost you big time.
The older you get, the more you'll have to pay. And a sudden accident or unexpected illness could cause your rates to skyrocket or even make you uninsurable. Beat the clock. Call SelectQuote now. No hassle, no obligation. In minutes, you'll have a choice of your best rates from up to 10 highly rated life insurance companies. Richard, 40 years old, takes meds to control his cholesterol. Still, SelectQuote got him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $25 a month. Under $1 a day. Don't risk your family's security another minute. Get your free quote now. Just call 800-694-1010. That's 800-694-1010. 800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
97.1 News Time, 12:03. Good afternoon. I'm Jason Church. Two parents have been arrested after a bus stop fight in which they're accused of ordering their daughter to attack another student. Parkway School District officials say that the incident happened on Wednesday morning at Town and 4 Parkway Drive near Olive Boulevard. The parents, who were also accused of jumping into the brawl, claimed that the student was bullying their daughter online. Some students tried to intervene and were apparently punched and pushed. Parkway officials are investigating the allegation. A profane tweet is behind the departure of the chairman of the Illinois Lottery Control Board. Blair Garber has apologized and resigned his post for using disparaging terms on Twitter to refer to East St. Louis. Garber is a member of the Republican State Central Committee and was named to the Lottery Board in 2016 by Bruce Rauner. This news update brought to you by SmartMouth. Bad breath is bad business. The real cause of bad breath is sulfur gas. Eliminate and block sulfur gas day and night with SmartMouth Oral Rinse. SmartMouth.com.
A bad cold and flu season is upon us. Knowing when it's the flu can make a big difference in knowing when to call your doctor. The flu brings a fever, so be prepared with the Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer. The Exergen Temporal Scanner, backed by more than 70 clinical studies.
Wouldn't it be nice if summer lasted forever? No more cold winds, snow would be just a memory? It would be nice, but seasons do change, and it's like that for the stock market too. Hi, I'm Thomas Helbig, founder of the Retirement Advisory Group. We've witnessed an almost unprecedented rise in the stock market over the past few years. It seems like warm, sunny financial weather is here to stay. But weather patterns can change, and I've seen what happens when markets experience corrections. Now is the time to find out how your investment portfolio might perform during a market downturn. Give us a call for a free retirement review and find out what investment strategies might be best for you today and into retirement. Don't wait until the temperature of the stock market drops. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of my best-selling book, The Boomer's Guide to a Worry-Free Retirement. Give us a call now at 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494 or online at retirementkey.com. Once again, that's 314-993-9494 or online at retirementkey.com.
Radio. It's nothing new. It's been here all along. With free entertainment, news, sports, music, and information. It's not just part of life. It's a part of who we are. You know which station is going to tell you the score of the game, which one is going to give you a laugh in the morning, which one will give you something to sing along with. You know where to turn when the weather gets rough. When something big happens, good or bad, you know where to go. Because radio has been here all along. Radio is part of your community, woven into the fabric of what makes home, home. And now, radio has evolved to move with you with the Next Radio app in your FM-enabled phone. Just plug in your headphones to start experiencing radio in a whole new way while using way less battery and data than streaming apps. Check out the live guide to see and interact with live radio stations. Easily find your favorites, like the one you're listening to right now. And as always, it's totally free. Download the Next Radio app today. Next Radio, live and local, wherever you go.
Cold weather tends to make people stop thinking about the outside of their home. At Banner Construction, that's when they begin scheduling their springtime work. So if you're planning an exterior beautification project anytime soon, take advantage of Banner's off-season pricing on the nation's most luxurious siding, James Hardie Fiber Cement Siding. Quality craftsmanship is a must when working with James Hardie products. That's why James Hardie has named Banner Construction an elite preferred remodeler for the past decade. And if you're considering new windows, check out Beechworth Windows. They come from the same renowned James Hardie company. If you've considered any of the big three, Marvin, Pella, or Anderson, you owe it to yourself to look at Beechworth windows. They stack up with the best, and you'll be surprised at their affordability. Call Banner Construction today to learn more about how they can help you with these important projects around your home. Call Banner at 314-569-1050 or check them out on the web. And don't forget, have a Banner Day.
This hour of the Mark Cox Show brought to you by Naputi Wellness, NaputiWellnessCenter.com.
The Mark Cox Show.
I want to compliment your show on how fair and level-headed everything you guys talk about.
Who is this guy? He's saying what we've been saying forever.
Maybe what we need from a conservative standpoint is
The Mark Cox Show.
I respect that. We don't agree.
Listen to both sides.
Let's get it on. Is the Mark Cox Show.
3% tax. That's not fair. So they'll send their motorbikes or something into us 0. We send it to them 100%. That's not fair trade. That's not fair. So I like the word reciprocal. If they're going to do it to us, we're going to do it to them. And what's going to happen is your numbers are going to either come down or we're going to make a lot of money. And either one is okay as far as I'm concerned. We can rebuild our crumbling infrastructure, and we will. Streamline the horrible approval process. Roadways that take 12, 13, 14 years to get approved. We used to build them in 3 months, and now it takes years and years of approvals. We're going to bring that down ideally to 1 year. It's 2 years is our goal, but 1 year is our real goal. And we can get it done under budget, and we want to get it done ahead of schedule because you don't have too many of them. Under budget and ahead of schedule. We can deliver for our police, our veterans, and our brave service members. And finally, after decades of waiting, we can finally pass immigration reform that protects our country, defends our borders, and modernizes our immigration rules to serve the needs of American workers and of American families. So important.
That is the president speaking live there at White Sulphur Springs in West Virginia right now. Welcome into the Mark Cox Show. Happy you're with us on this Thursday. The president started his address, about 15 or 20 minutes ago. He's touched on a few of the same issues he touched on at the State of the Union. He's talked about maybe having phase 2 of tax reform, which I'm sure caught a few ears. And then he's been talking, of course, about immigration, and that's where he's settled right now. So let's pick this back up for a minute and let you listen to a few more of the president's comments on immigration.
We don't want visa lottery. Pick a lottery ticket. Pick a lottery. We don't want that. So we want it based on merit. We have a chance now to pass into law the immigration reforms that the American people have been demanding for decades and that many of you have been working on for your entire careers. We have a great opportunity as a Republican Party. As the Republican Party, we have a great opportunity. We're getting very little help from the Democrats, but I hope after I leave this room, we're going to get a call from these people, say, let's go. You know, they talk a good game. We have to get help from the other side, or we have to elect many more Republicans. That's another way of doing it. Really, that's another way of doing it. And based on the numbers we just saw, we have a real chance of doing that. You know, 18 is going to be very interesting, but we've got to do one or the other. Either they're going to have to come on board because they talk a good game with DACA, but they don't produce. And so either they come on board or we're just going to have to really work, and we're going to have to get more people so we can get the kind of numbers that we need to pass in a much easier fashion legislation. And to get it done, we'll all have to make some compromises along the way to get it done this way. Now, to get it done the other way, if we win more, we don't have to compromise so much. Okay? With the tax bill, we got what we wanted because we had essentially a unanimous vote. But we have to go and we have to get it done and get it done properly, and we're going to have to compromise unless we elect more Republicans, in which case we can have it just the way everybody in this room wants it.
All right, some more of the president's comments there on what needs to happen so we can get immigration reform done. You know, I'm not surprised because you expect what the left reaction is going to be to anything that comes out of Donald Trump's mouth. It doesn't matter what it is. It's got to be negative. I've listened to a Nancy Pelosi last night talk about the fact that it was the worst thing the worst speech anybody's ever given, like in the history of the United States of America. And somehow what he said at the State of the Union speech was dangerous. Go to cut number 15 for me, Liz, please.
So it was, I would say, confusing. It was worse than that. It was dangerous, what he said last night.
So these are the talking points that have gone out. Luis Gutierrez gets up and leaves the speech because he apparently doesn't support the USA. Chants of USA were going on. Gutierrez chooses to skedaddle to try to make a point, which he didn't make. He failed miserably doing it. I don't know how I missed this yesterday, and I need to apologize to you as your host here because I kind of pride myself on not a whole lot getting past me when I do prep for this show. But somehow I missed what Maxine Waters said about the president yesterday in her rebuttal to the State of the Union. I heard Joe Kennedy and I heard Bernie Sanders and I heard a few of these other people, some of the celebrities, but somehow I missed the crazy Maxine Waters. So she, I think she gave this speech on BET, from what I could tell, and so she was talking to her audience. But just so you have a sample of it, I just wanted you to hear this, so you have a really good idea why people on the left in this country never ever intend to work with this president, and their excuse is nothing that's connected to common sense or reality. It's simply the fact that once you call somebody a racist, the argument is over. The left has gone nuclear with that for years. The race baiters on the left have gone nuclear with it for years. Maxine Waters can't open her mouth without uttering that word. This is what she said in the aftermath of the State of the Union about the President of the United States. Listen.
After Trump defended white supremacists, targeted Muslims with his travel ban, described Mexicans as rapists, and mocked people with disabilities, it's impossible to believe him when he tries to declare that he wants to bring the country together. One speech cannot and does not make Donald Trump presidential. He's not presidential, and he never will be presidential. He claims that he's bringing people together, but make no mistake, he is a dangerous, unprincipled, divisive, and shameful racist.
Chicken crap.
Yeah, that's Maxine Waters. So he's a shameful racist. And I'm sure she probably didn't even go to the speech, but if she had, she would have been one of the ones sitting on her hands when he talked about how great the economy's going. And this very people Maxine Waters claims to represent, the ones that vote her into office over and over and over again, along with the crazy red hat lady down in Atlanta. These are the people who are going to get more in their paycheck next week. Not because of Maxine Waters and her crazy rants like that, but because the president and the Republicans passed tax reform on a straight party line vote. The economy's doing well, and therefore all of her constituents who have jobs will be doing well as well. The rising tide will float all of those boats. But even in the face of all of that evidence, the president's enemies will never give him an ounce of credit. I think this is going to be to their detriment in November. Now, we don't know what might happen between now and then. Kim Jong-un, Rocket Man, may launch a rocket at us. I mean, who knows? A lot of things could change between now and then. But if the economy is still doing well, and this president manages somehow to pull off immigration reform, lights out. Bye, Felicia. Lights out. There's no way they're going to have the losses the Democrats are hoping that the Republicans will suffer if things keep going the way they're going. I've got a story here I'm going to get to later about the polls that came out after the State of the Union address. Even in the left-wing media, which really was begging for negative polls by the way they worded their questions and their polling, he still got rave reviews for that speech. So then you have to ask yourself, what's really the goal of the opposition? And I think that we're starting to see through some of that. Before we get any further, Liz, let's go ahead and get to the short list, please.
The short list brought to you by Bill Thomas Camper Sales. Find your camper at btcamper.com.
We made history in 2016, and we're going to make history again in 2018 when we re-elect Republican majorities in the House and Senate.
So it was, I would say, confusing. It was worse than that. It was dangerous, what he said last night.
We don't raise as much money as the Republicans, quite simply because they got this massive tax cut that benefits corporations and very, very wealthy people.
Yeah, that's it. Because of this tax cut. Yeah, that's why. That's pretty funny. You know, I mentioned this poll a minute ago, and this is really kind of hits them where it counts when you think about it this way, and I'll tell you why. The Huffington Post put out a poll just like we did on Twitter after the president's speech the other night, right? So I understand that when I put out a poll to people who listen to my program, the majority of people that listen to my program probably agree with a lot of what I say. I understand that. When I get a poll, when I put the results of a poll out and I get it back, generally speaking, it's going to reflect the point of view of this program, because a lot of people listen to this program because they either agree with this point of view or they lean toward agreeing with this point of view. One of the two. But I tried to put out as fair a poll as I could. State of the Union's over with. How do you think the president did? Did he do excellent? Did he do just good? Was he too combative, or did he do poor? Nobody can claim that that's weighted one way or the other. You could have picked one of the two negatives, or you could have picked one of the two positives. Close to 500 votes. Now, here was my mistake in that, because Tony Colombo normally runs our Twitter poll, and I decided to do it myself the other night because Tony was busy, and I didn't know how to set the poll to end at 2 o'clock. So it ran for a full 24 hours. So the poll didn't end until late yesterday. Like around the same time the speech would have ended is when the poll ended. And, you know, the way the thing ended up, we had close to 500 votes on this, right? 450 votes, final results. 79% of people in our poll voted that the president did an excellent job, 13% good, and only a total of about 8% said either too combative or poor, right? So I could understand somebody who's got an opposite point of view looking at that and saying, well, it's a poll of your listeners. Of course they're going to think that. So what happened? The Huffington Post, one of the, if not the most left-wing media organizations in the country, put out their own poll, their own Twitter poll, right? And Trump's first State of the Union address was, they had one smiley face, and then they had three negative options. 77% of the people in the Huffington Post poll, what did I tell you, 78? 77% of the people in the Huffington Post poll thought the president gave a great speech. The only positive option got 77% of the votes, which matches the CBS News poll that we talked about yesterday, right? 75% approved, only 25% disapproved. And then Monmouth came out and showed the president's overall popularity rating is rising as well, up above 45%. So I thought that was pretty funny. That HuffPo tried to beat him up over this, and even their own people who watched it realized he did a good job. You got to give him credit for that. You may not agree with everything he said, and that's a point I'm going to get to here in just a minute. So I hope you stick around this hour. We've got a couple of tickets to give away today to Jeff Beck and Paul Rogers and Ann Wilson. In the next hour, we're going to talk a little bit more about a subject that's bothered me for a long time. I've got one adult daughter who's still in college, going to law school. I've got a son who's a freshman in college. I've got a little one who's still in elementary school, right? Kind of spread them out there. Point is, I've been watching the grading system in this country in our schools for a long time, and I've been more and more concerned when they removed the class valedictorian because they didn't like the way it made the second person who came in second feel. Right. So they don't have a class valedictorian. They don't rank the class anymore. They don't want to do anything, everybody takes home a trophy kind of attitude towards grading in this country. We're going to talk to Jennifer Braceras, who's looked at this problem in the education field, and she's truly concerned that where they're going with this is to eliminate grades altogether. So I'm going to talk to her about that in the next hour. In the 2 o'clock hour, Keith Antone's going to join us. We've had him on before. He'll be in for the bottom line today. She'll have his opinions about what Maxine Waters had to say about the State of the Union and maybe this memo that could be released as soon as tomorrow. And Congresswoman Ann Wagner is going to join us in the 2 o'clock hour as well, about 2:25 today. She's at this retreat in Virginia. She just listened to the president's speech there. She's about to sit down and have lunch with him. The president's going to have lunch with the legislators who are there, and then we'll get her on the air talking about that speech and the little excitement they had on the trade ride down there and all that. So we're going to get to all of that and more. Plus, what I started to say was when we come back, I'm going to play a past State of the Union address, a few clips from that, just to let you hear the hypocrisy of the left at work. We'll be right back.
The Mark Cox Show on FM News Talk 97.1, 98.7, AM 1490, and 97.1talk.com.
Glover here. This week on the show, we have your chance to win tickets to see Journey and Def Leppard playing Busch Stadium on August 24th. Tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. Tune into the show for your chance to win or register online at 971talk.com.
Control freak? Nope, not me. I mean, sure, I think spontaneity is overrated, and I hate when the gas pump stops at $20.01, but as long as things go exactly how I want them to, I'm totally flexible. That's why I love how Regions Lock It lets me lock my Regions personal cards when and how I want to with just the touch of a button. So, say I want to control when I shop online. I can keep my cards locked until I'm ready to purchase, and lock them back when I'm done. Or, if I don't use my credit card at ATMs, I can lock it. And if I rarely use my now prepaid card in stores, well, you can see where I'm going with this. Regions Lock It puts me in complete control. You don't have to be a control freak to think that's pretty awesome.
Open a Regions checking, credit, or Now Card account with new Lock It. It's secure, easy to use, and customizable. Regions. Member FDIC. Your mobile carrier's messaging and data fees may apply.
Ameren Missouri is proud to light the way in the communities we serve. And not just through the street lamps dotting our neighborhoods, but also by helping educate the next generation about the wonders of science and technology, providing a helping hand to those in need, and exploring innovative energy solutions so that tomorrow is a little cleaner than today. Transforming the future of our community by lighting the way. That's energy at work. Learn more at amerenmissouri.com/community.
Well, if you're looking for some great ideas for this coming weekend, it's been the weather's been all over the place. You never really know what to expect, but you can still get out and enjoy one of Missouri's great wineries that we have right here in the area. That is the Sugar Creek Winery. They're open every weekend. Go try your favorite wine, whatever you prefer. The dry stuff, the Vidal Blanc. I'm not a dry wine drinker. Never was. I guess I'm not cultured enough. I usually have to have that semi-sweet stuff that they have out there. But they've got it all, and they make the wine right on the property at Sugar Creek. They've got a great selection. They've got beers if that's what you're looking for. You're always welcome to bring a basket of food if you want when you go out there. Like I said, they're open every weekend. They've got great indoor space where you can sit in the warm weather if it's not warm enough outside, and you can enjoy your wine. Every weekend, and you may be surprised by this, they're still open at Sugar Creek from 11 in the morning until 6 p.m. So this Saturday and Sunday, next Saturday and Sunday, and then of course as we get further into spring, they'll start up again with their full 7-day-a-week schedule, and they'll have music on the weekends and all that good stuff when it's good to get back outside. But check them out at Sugar Creek Winery. They've got what you need. You're going to love Ken and Becky Miller. You're going to see them on site just about every day. They have done something special with this place. Sits up on the river bank. It looks out over the river valley. It's just beautiful. They host weddings. You name it. It's just a great place to go. So go check them out. You can go to their website to find out more, but they're right on Highway 94, 2 miles south of Defiance on the right-hand side. It is sugarcreekwines.com.
Severe nausea. So bad you think you might just vomit. If these statements describe you, and you've been diagnosed with gastroparesis, you might qualify for a clinical study that tests a new medication for nausea and the symptoms of gastroparesis. Qualified participants will receive study-related care and medication at no charge. Call 844-902-1212. That's 844-902-1212. This ad sponsored by Vanda Pharmaceuticals.
This is the required weekly test of the Emergency Alert System. This concludes the required weekly test of the Emergency Alert System. Head to Mid-America Arms. From firearms to accessories, you won't find a better selection in Mid-America, including guns, rifles, knives, ammo, holsters, cases, and more. From Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Glock, Benelli, Sig Sauer, and others. Ask their no-commission sales assistants about their trade-in policy, transfers, rebates, and info about concealed carry and basic firearms training. Mid-America Arms, 8205 Gravois Road, and at midamericaarms.com. That's midamericaarms.com.
Hey, it's Tim Jones. Join me for the Tim Jones Show Sunday, 7 to 9 p.m. We'll have Tim's Top 3, Media Malpractice, the top newsmakers of the week, and your phone calls.
The Tim Jones Show on FM News Talk 97.1.
Find everything Mark Cox at 971talk.com/Cox.
Why would Republicans refuse to be better informed about the information?
Because that's really not the goal. The goal is to put out a document that will set a narrative that helps the president, and that narrative is the FBI is corrupt, what they're doing is corrupt, the whole investigation is corrupt, Bob Mueller is corrupt. You should bring an end to this investigation. And that is, I think, singularly destructive. It only encourages the White House to engage in conduct that could bring about a constitutional crisis.
I think there are Democrats worth listening to who are legitimate, who speak in good faith. Adam Schiff is not one of them. He's a liar and a demagogue. I asked him a very straightforward question on my show.
You had a brawl with him.
Well, I asked him a simple question, which is, do we know that the Russian government hacked John Podesta's emails? And he accused me of working for Vladimir Putin.
Let me sum this up for you. Congressman Adam Schiff is full of Schiff. Is that the best way of putting this? Let me tell you, folks, when we talk about this memo, apparently I've got a bite here from some reporting from John Roberts at Fox, who's reporting that the president is going to approve the memo today and return it. He has to return it to Devin Nunes at the House, and that'll happen sometime like tomorrow morning, because of course he's down in Virginia right now, or West Virginia, at this retreat. He's leaving now. There's a shot of him going to Marine One. Or maybe he's having lunch. I don't know. I think he's having lunch first, then he's going back to D.C. So sometime late today or in the morning, they're going to release this memo. It's going to go to Devin Nunes. I'm sorry, and then he'll actually, that's who will release it, not the White House. The White House just had to sign off on it. So the president gets the memo. He reads it. 5 individuals from the FBI and the Justice Department come to the White House. They read it. They tell the president that they don't seem to have any problems with it. I guess a couple of minor adjustments were made to it at the White House level based on recommendations from these people that came over and looked at it. And then last night, the FBI releases a statement condemning the release of the memo after they came over in person and looked at it and signed off on it. What do you think's going on here? Why are the chickens scattering across the yard? There's no reason why Adam Schiff or any of these Democrats, Nancy Pelosi's now demanding that Paul Ryan fire Devin Nunes, demote him from this committee because of what he's done here. What are they afraid of? What am I missing? I had a friend earlier who texted me and said, I'm watching all this debate about this memo. What am I missing? Help me figure out what I'm missing that these Democrats are so worried about. And I find myself only being able to draw one conclusion. They want to accuse the Republicans of playing politics, but the damage here is going to come to their party because their party was in charge when this went down. And what it's going to appear is that there was favoritism being played to the FISA court on behalf of Hillary Clinton and against Donald Trump. There's nothing else this could be. This is how I look at it. And feel free to call in here if you have a different opinion on this. But 314-969-9797. What's at issue here? In this 4-page memo, they're not dealing with undercover agents. They're not going to be unveiling the name of some undercover agent in somewhere in Iran who's deep undercover who might get killed if his name comes out. That's not what this document is. All this document is talking about the process followed to obtain FISA warrants to investigate people in the Donald Trump campaign. It's that simple. What's the evidence that was presented to a FISA court judge in return for permission to spy, to surveil that individual on American soil? The judge is supposed to have a very high standard for that. But if the judge doesn't know that the information they're being given came from opposition research paid for by the opposing party's candidate for president, folks, that's a problem. That's a major problem. You know who's in the middle of all this? And for some reason, CNN keeps having him on the air. James Clapper. James Clapper was the director of national intelligence for the Democrats. For Barack Obama, under Barack Obama, James Clapper was the director of national intelligence, which means he dealt with stuff from the FBI. He dealt with stuff from the CIA. All of these different groups, everything that happened was under the purview of James Clapper. Question here is, was the Steele dossier, which has a lot of scurrilous claims, which, if there was any chance that the FBI could have proven any of them, they would have. They would have loved to have been able to use this. But in the end, they couldn't prove any of it. And we have James Clapper admitting on CNN last night to Jake Tapper that indeed parts of that dossier were used to go in, he claims, he admits this here, were used to argue to a judge that they needed to continue a warrant that had already been issued. So apparently these things have an expiration date. I think that's what's in this memo. And it's going to be egg on the face of the entire intelligence community as to why it wasn't related to that judge where this information came from. Listen to Clapper.
It could be considered corroborating. And by the way, although we did not include the dossier in our original intelligence community assessment that we published last January.
You included a summary as an annex.
But it was separate from it because we couldn't validate the sources in it. However, some of what was in the dossier was corroborated in our intelligence community assessment, which was derived from other sources of information in which we had high confidence. So, you shouldn't completely dismiss totally what's in the dossier.
Yeah, James Clapper knows what's going on here. What he's trying to argue is that, well, there were parts of the dossier that weren't as fake as others. I think I'm just summarizing what I just heard James Clapper say there, because his head is going to be on a plate too. He's been out saying how dangerous it is to release this. We're not giving away top secret. Everybody knows how this process works. It's Congress's job to oversee this process and make sure it's not abused. And it's time for the American people to know the truth. And you know what? Let's see the Republican memo. Let's see the Democratic memo. Let's see the documents they both drew their information from, and let the American public. Or, I got a better idea, let a special prosecutor look at the original documents and decide which version is telling the truth. That's what the Democrats are afraid of. They're afraid that when this memo comes out tonight or tomorrow morning or whenever it comes out, it's going to be the tipping point for demands for a special prosecutor to look into this case, to look into the Hillary Clinton email case, because I've been told from reports that I've read, this 4-page memo is a drop in the bucket to the 1,000-page report the Inspector General's about to drop about how that Clinton email case was mishandled. It's a drop in the bucket. Hey, Carolyn, thank you for the phone call.
Hey, thank you.
What's going on?
Isn't all this beautiful? How beautiful it's coming down.
They're squirming.
And good old Nancy Pelosi, when the health care bill was there, just sign it and you'll see what's in it. And, karma's just so beautiful to me. But anyhow, my sources where I go to the alternative news feed says that train yesterday had senators and their families from the right, and that was a helicopter escort. The roads were closed down. That was no accident yesterday. I believe our president has put this off, releasing it till everybody gets to this retreat safely. I think our president is one of the most honorable men we have seen in a really super long time, and every day it just gets better and better.
Well, Carolyn, I appreciate the phone call. I have not read anything so far, I'll have to say, that suggests that was anything other than an accident. 3 local boys were in the cab of the truck. It was clearly a garbage truck. It didn't have any explosives on it or anything. If you're trying to wreck that train and do considerable damage, I think you'd put a little more effort into it than that. But again, they're still investigating it. So if anything else comes out on that, we'll let you know. I will. Hey, Jane, Rick, hold the line. I've got a few lines open, 314-969-9797. We'll talk more about this memo. And as I promised, I've dug up some comments from a past State of the Union. And I want you to listen to them so that we can all revel in the hypocrisy of some of the comments we've heard since this president's State of the Union 2 days ago. We'll be right back.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather with Dave Murray.
Kind of a mix of clouds and sunshine. Any spotty sprinkles or flurries would be around in the morning. They're completely out of the picture for the afternoon. It's windy and it's colder. 39 for the high, but look for dropping temperatures much of the afternoon. Tonight, crystal clear skies, very cold, down to 15. Friday, partly sunny, quiet and cold, 32 for the high at best on Friday. I'm Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray for FM News Talk 97.1.
Go check out my friends at Espino's, whether you're stopping by for, an adult beverage or you're stopping by for lunch or maybe early dinner. You are going to be as impressed as I've been every time I've been there. From the appetizer menu to the entrees, the Chef Espino's constantly coming up with new creative Mexican food. It's going to be the best Mexican food you've eaten in St. Louis. I can just about guarantee that. I haven't been to every restaurant, but of the ones I've been to, the ones where you order by number, this one stands out from the rest because it's so unique. Add the generous selection of appetizers and soups and salads and entrees. Stopped by the other day and saw Angelo there at the bar. They've got plenty of different kinds of tequila. I got to try some of their top shelf stuff when I was there. It was outstanding. Here's the thing. Espino's caters, and this is always something to bear in mind. If you've got to host something at home at the last minute, or you're setting up something for your office, they can do groups as small as 10 to 12. And the great thing about their catering menu is if not everybody in your group likes this kind of food, they have a lot of different options, barbecue, everything on their catering menu. So go to their website to check it out. All the details are on there. The price estimate is on there for you, or you can call them and ask them once you've looked at the menu to figure out exactly what you want. 636-519-0044. Remember, Espino's is right there on Chesterfield Airport Road, sits out along the highway right across from the big theater down there in Chesterfield. It's Espino's Mexican Bargrill.com.
Watch the Mark Cox Show live on the Granite Transformation Studio Cam at 971talk.com/Cox. Log on to our website or use your mobile device to join the daily live stream and watch the show. It's the Granite Transformation Studio Cam at 971talk.com/Cox.
Did you know that proper sleep plays a vital role in good health and both mental and physical development? Hi, I'm Dr. Jay Omas with Advanced Dentistry of St. Charles and Better Sleep STL. If you are one of the more than 37 million Americans that suffer from chronic sleep apnea or snoring, your sleep is no doubt being interrupted and your health potentially put at risk. My office offers custom oral sleep appliances that work as an alternative option for those patients unable to tolerate CPAP therapy. We also utilize the latest technology and diagnostics to maximize the immediate effectiveness of your oral appliance and team with other sleep professionals in the area to properly evaluate your care for the best long-term results. In addition, unlike a corporate one-size-fits-all facility, we offer individualized care, the convenience of sleep apnea screening in your own home, and in-network medical insurance pre-authorization and billing, including Medicare. If you are looking for the best alternative to treat your snoring or sleep apnea, contact me today at 636-978-0226 or visit BetterSleepSTL.com.
Debt can be stressful, especially credit card debt with its outrageous interest rates and fees. Did you know, unless you pay your bill in full, you get charged interest, even on the part of the bill you do pay? Don't take my word for it. It's right there on your statement. I'm Michael Mohan with Community Mortgage. You don't need to live under the stress of debt when there is a very good chance I can help you get rid of it by using the equity in your home. Consolidating that debt into a fixed-rate, tax-deductible loan in the threes will free up hundreds of dollars every month, and we can do this without adding any closing costs onto your loan. Plus, you'll skip 2 months of mortgage payments. Don't wait any longer. Call now for a straightforward review of your loan options. The call is free, but the savings could be life-changing. Remember, whether you are buying, refinancing, or need to consolidate debt, call me, Michael Mohan, 314-336-6050, 314-336-6050, or online at communitymortgagestl.com.
Community Mortgage LLC, APRs in the threes, NMLS 250353224143.
Get ready to start flipping houses overnight for a nice profit. The NV Real Estate Academy is now giving away their Fortunes in Flipping Kit for free. This kit has helped thousands of rookie investors just like you learn how to flip houses for large profits, and it can help you too. Call now to get your free kit and learn the secrets of flipping houses with other people's money, or partnering with the NV Real Estate Academy Network to get your deals funded. Plus, you'll get their new groundbreaking tax lien investing kit that'll show you how to earn government-secured returns up to 18% annually, and how to buy highly discounted tax-delinquent properties. So if you're ready to make some extra cash, call 1-800-614-2119 now to get your free kit. Call 800-614-2119 now, and you'll also get free tickets to a live training with a free meal, a smartwatch, and flash drive loaded with vital information. Plus, a national government auction list of properties for sale. All free just for attending. Call 800-614-2119. That's 800-614-2119. Call now.
Trending on FM News Talk 97.1.
The state of our union is strong.
the state of our union is hopeful.
That means building a great wall.
Stay connected.
Build a wall. My generation will tear it down. To all the dreamers, we will fight for you.
Americans are dreamers too.
FM News Talk 97.1.
The Democrats were not standing for anything.
Younger, smarter.
To work with members of both parties.
Better. You're listening to The Mark Cox Show. Follow the show on Facebook. Facebook.com/The Mark Cox Show.
And again, Fox News is told that the president is expected to declassify that FISA memo and then transmit it back to the House Intelligence Committee likely tomorrow morning. Now, you heard Raj Shah talk about stakeholders. There were some stakeholders here at the White House on Tuesday afternoon. 5 career members of the FBI, including people from counterintelligence, who were here to view the memo that had been transmitted from Devin Nunes, the chairman of the Intelligence Committee, to the White House. That version contains some minor technical edits, I'm told, to the version that those same people from the FBI and the director, Christopher Wray, had seen on Monday and on Sunday night. I'm told that nothing of substance was changed in that memo. It was just some minor technical edits that were done, according to a source, at the request of the FBI, which is why the White House is really scratching its head as to why yesterday the FBI released that memo after apparently being, or that statement rather, after apparently being okay with the memo that they reviewed here on Tuesday, saying that this thing just can't get out, that there is missing information now that changes the context of everything. The sources I'm hearing from are saying, well, it was the FBI that requested those changes.
So John Roberts, just a short time ago, reporting on that, and a little bit of breaking news. If you watch Fox, if you've been a Hannity fan for a long time, there's a reporter who started out working for, I think it was Axis or something, and has now been hired as a contributor and reporter at Fox. Her name is Sarah Carter. If you've heard of Sarah Carter, this is what Sarah Carter reported just a couple of minutes ago. And you know what? What was the question I asked you just a few minutes ago? What could be in a 4-page memo about the process of requesting FISA surveillance that could have the Democrats so scared? Let me read this tweet that was put out by Sarah Carter about 20 minutes ago. Breaking news. FBI Director Chris Wray and the Department of Justice wants all names redacted from the FISA memo, putting pressure on the White House and the House Intelligence Committee, government officials say. Which brings you to this question. How is releasing the names mentioned in the evidence presented to a court a threat to national security? Unless some of these names are people who were officials in a previous Democrat administration who requested unmasking? I don't know. I'm speculating here. What has them so freaked out over the information that's included in a 4-page memo about the process of requesting a FISA warrant? None of it makes sense to me. I don't get it. But now, not only do they want Devin Nunes fired, now they're demanding all the names be redacted, even though they didn't say that, as you just heard John Roberts say, when they went to the White House and looked at it, they had no problem with it. Now, all of a sudden, well, wait a minute. You can't release that till you redact all those names. What do you think that's all about? I just can't wrap my brain around it. Hey, Jane, you're on the radio.
Yeah, I have about three subjects that will be real fast. One would be that this previous lawlessness was under President Barack Obama, and he lives about 2 miles from the White House. And so, anyway, he said that, he was going to keep involved, and he made it public that he was going to keep involved, and things he didn't like, he would fix or go after, and things he liked, he'd leave alone. And we haven't heard from him lately. All this crime was under his watch. And the second thing is that the Democrats are at a stage in their development or whatever, evolution, whatever you want to call it, that they don't care about anything but their own state, the state. Like Russia honors the state, not the individual. We, and with the conservatives, with the Constitution and Declaration of Independence, honors the uniqueness of the individuals and the law of nature, inalienable rights, and so forth and so on. So therefore, at the fantastic speech by President, and I'm a independent, but at the fantastic speech of President Trump, they were indifferent. They were bored, and so forth and so on. So they want everyone to believe the way they do, and they can do no wrong. And if they do wrong, they will not admit it, and they will circle the wagons, and they will make it tough for you. And the Republicans don't have that fight for each other that the Democrats have. But the Democrats believe, as Hegel, that you evolve away from all the Constitution and Declaration of Independence. You give yourself to each other and to the state, and you reach utopia. Well, good luck. So anyway, that's how I see things. And so it doesn't matter who's the president. That's the way it's going to be.
Good, Jane. Thank you very much for your point, and it's a good one. They do bow to the state, and anything that threatens that power structure for them, they consider a threat to their end, which is what they're after. I don't care who the Republican or who would be their political foe. They're going to stomp on them. It's true. Every chance they get. Jane, thank you for the call. I appreciate that very much. Rick, how are you?
I'm fine, Mark. How are you doing today?
I'm good. What's on your mind?
I was wondering, I wanted your opinion on this, and I'm not into conspiracy theory or anything else, but it's just something I noticed. When Trey Gowdy yesterday announced that he wasn't going for re-election because he was thinking about doing something more for justice. He wanted to go back into the justice side, not so much be a representative anymore. Well, with this memo coming out and the AG report coming out in April, it's possible that I could see him taking Rod Rosenstein's position.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'd rather see him be attorney general as opposed to deputy.
Well, the reason I say that is because Sessions, unless President Trump is going to do something about removing Sessions, I don't see him being able to go right as AG. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's possible.
But I could see him taking that role as deputy, that if Sessions would be removed, that he could possibly move up.
He could step up. Yeah, that's a great point, Rick. I heard some other people speculate about that yesterday, and I just don't know the truth. I don't know if that's where he's going or not. He was kind of vague on what kind of judicial work he'd be doing. I thought so. I would agree with you on that. Hey, let me remind you of something very quickly, and I'm gonna get to the rest of this later in the show, but just let me remind you of something very quickly. Yesterday, Charles called in late in the show and derided the president for daring to call out those family members whose children died at the hands of MS-13. He just thought that was horrible. No other president's ever done that. Let me remind you what Barack Obama did in the State of the Union address in 2013, shortly after Sandy Hook, on gun control.
Because in the 2 months since Newtown, more than 1,000 birthdays, graduations, anniversaries have been stolen from our lives by a bullet from a gun. More than 1,000. One of those we lost was a young girl named Hadiya Pendleton. She was 15 years old. She loved fig Newtons and lip gloss. She was a majorette. She was so good to her friends, they all thought they were her best friend. Just 3 weeks ago, she was here in Washington with her classmates, performing for her country at my inauguration. And a week later, she was shot and killed in a Chicago park after school, just a mile away from my house.
So he was talking to her parents who were up in the gallery, along with Gabby Giffords and a bunch of other people to try to make his point about gun control. Presidents do this all the time, Charles. I've tried to make that point to you yesterday. This happens a lot. So people can get off their high horse about that. And those parents have been outspoken, too, the ones the president had on. I saw them on maybe the Laura Ingraham show last night talking about it. All right. A quick break. Still lots to get to for you today. Stick around. We're going to talk about the war on grades when we come back. Plus, we've got Congresswoman Ann Wagner in the 2 o'clock hour. Stick around.
This hour of the Mark Cox Show brought to you by Naputi Wellness. NaputiWellnessCenter.com.
This is Chair Emeritus Earl E. Nance. Rise and shine for heatupstlouis.org at Missouri-Illinois Hardee's on February 9th.
I'm co-chair Lori Trotter. The need has become greater than ever. Please drop off a buck or more during breakfast.
You'll get a free sausage and egg or egg biscuit. 100% goes to charity.
I'm Kim Tucci, Chair Emeritus. Please give a little extra to our volunteers during Rise and Shine.
All donations stay in that community where collected. It's February 9th. Rise and shine for heatupstlouis.org at Hardee's.
Hey guys, Glover here for Rock and Jump in O'Fallon, Missouri. It is 30,000 square feet of clean, safe fun, including trampolines, dodgeball, rock climbing, basketball dunking, stunt bag jousting, a ninja course. This is the place for kids and teenagers to have birthday parties. There's free Wi-Fi, free lockers, comfortable seating, great pizza, drinks, snacks for adults and kids, even massage chairs. They strive for a Disney-like environment, a Chick-fil-A level of customer service. They really, truly try harder. PTO, schools, bands, sports teams, fundraisers. They have tweens and teens evenings on Fridays and neon Saturdays from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. So many things to love. Mention the DGS and get $25 off your birthday party package. Call 636-321-4024 or visit O'Fallon.rockandjump.com. That's ROCKIN, O'Fallon.rockandjump.com.
Hi, this is Curtis Stone. You name a dish, and I've prepared it thousands of times. But even I can't cook enough to feed all of the 17 million kids in America who are struggling with hunger. That's where the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks comes in. They gather surplus food to give hope to hungry kids and their families. We call them food angels, and you can be one too. Earn your wings at feedingamerica.org.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hate going to the mall? Try Latote.com, a fashion subscription box that sends brand name clothing and accessories right to your door for one low monthly fee. Choose from brands like BCBG, Nike, Rebecca Minkoff, and more. All month long, get unlimited totes each month. Simply wear, return, and repeat. Go to Latote.com, enter code radio at checkout to get 50% off your first month. Wear what you want, return everything in the mail when you're done. Repeat all month long. Again, that's Latote.com, enter code radio.
Only one event unites the world. The 2018 Winter Olympics.
And there it is! Shaun White double gold. Boy, does he deliver.
See the world's best.
Lindsey Vonn is a gold medalist.
And see the world at its best.
To the finish, Michaela Schifrin wins gold for the U.S.
The 2018 Winter Olympics, coming February 8th, only on NBC.
Information at your fingertips. 971talk.com, your desktop talk stop. KFTK FM Florissant, KFTK AM East St. Louis, K254CR St. Louis.
Powered by Window World.
FM News Talk 97.1.
Shot at a California middle school. On Lisa Brady, Fox News. It happened in a classroom, and a student is the suspect. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal has more live in L.A.
Lisa, a teenage girl student has been taken into custody. A gun has been recovered. 5 people in all were hurt at Sal Castro Middle School. 2 of them were injured by gunshots.
The most critical was a 15-year-old male that received a gunshot wound to the head. However, we're placing him in critical but stable condition.
The L.A. Fire Department spokesman there, Eric Scott, Scott says the other 3, ranging in age from 11 to 30, had lesser injuries, abrasions, possibly from flying glass. Police had gone through the classrooms, patting down all of the students to ensure the campus was safe. Parents have been swarming outside the school, waiting to pick up their kids, Lisa.
Thanks, Jessica. Tomorrow could be the day a controversial memo is released.
Administration sources tell Fox the president plans to declassify the document, then notify the House Intelligence Committee that drafted the memo documenting alleged abuse of government surveillance programs during the 2016 election.
Fox's Catherine Herridge. Democrats say the memo is misleading and want the Republican head of the House Intelligence Committee, Devin Nunes, removed as chairman. They also accuse him of making edits after the committee voted along party lines to release the memo. Republican Congressman Peter King is on the committee.
The Democrats change their arguments every day. As far as I know, and this was discussed the other night with Chairman Nunes, there's only one change I'm aware of. There may have been a grammatical change besides that.
Committee sources say the FBI and Democrats on the committee had requested changes. President Trump questioning whether Democrats really want to make a deal on comprehensive immigration reform.
We have to get help from the other side, or we have to elect many more Republicans. That's another way of doing it.
Speaking at a GOP retreat in West Virginia, some Democrats want a separate deal for so-called dreamers brought to the U.S. illegally as children. Fox News, fair and balanced.
The clock is ticking. Every day you put off buying life insurance can cost you big time. The older you get, the more you'll have to pay. And a sudden accident or unexpected illness could cause your rates to skyrocket or even make you uninsurable. Beat the clock. Call SelectQuote now. No hassle, no obligation. In minutes, you'll have a choice of your best rates from up to 10 highly rated life insurance companies. Richard, 40 years old, takes meds to control his cholesterol. Still, SelectQuote got him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $25 a month. Under $1 a day. Don't risk your family security another minute. Get your free quote now. Just call 800-694-1010. That's 800-694-1010. 800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
97.1 News Time 103. Good afternoon. I'm Jason Church. Missouri State Auditor Nicole Galloway says Governor Eric Greitens' proposed budget is, quote, irresponsible, and she's glad lawmakers are saying no to the governor's request to borrow $250 million to cover a short-term budget gap. Galloway claims that this practice often results in late refunds for taxpayers. Governor Eric Greitens has withdrawn the appointment of one of his nominees to the Missouri Housing Development Commission. Some presume the move Wednesday by Greitens was in anticipation of turbulence on the Senate floor. Shortly before the decision to pull the nominee, a Senate panel on gubernatorial appointments narrowly allowed the nomination of Craig Porter to advance to the Senate floor on a 6-4 vote. The Illinois Department of Transportation wants you to know that one of 2 eastbound lanes on the Chain of Rocks Bridge will be closed tomorrow from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. for bridge deck repairs. You're asked to use alternate routes. This news update brought to you by RP Lumber, best service, best value.
A bad cold and flu season is upon us. Knowing when it's the flu can make a big difference in knowing when to call your doctor. The flu brings a fever, so be prepared with the Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer. The Exergen Temporal Scanner, backed by more than 70 clinical studies.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-333-1750. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-333-1750. That's 800-333-1750 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-333-1750. 800-333-1750.
Wouldn't it be nice if summer lasted forever? No more cold winds, snow would be just a memory. It would be nice, but seasons do change, and it's like that for the stock market too. Hi, I'm Thomas Helbig, founder of the Retirement Advisory Group. We've witnessed an almost unprecedented rise in the stock market over the past few years. It seems like warm, sunny financial weather is here to stay. But weather patterns can change, and I've seen what happens when markets experience corrections. Now is the time to find out how your investment portfolio might perform during a market downturn. Give us a call for a free retirement review and find out what investment strategies might be best for you today and into retirement. Don't wait until the temperature of the stock market drops. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of my best-selling book, The Boomer's Guide to a Worry-Free Retirement. Give us a call now at 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494 or online at retirementkey.com. Once again, that's 314-993-9494 or online at retirementkey.com.
Not on my watch, our military service members say, as they volunteer to serve. Not on my watch, they say, as they leave their families behind to keep the rest of ours safe. As they move out, stand firm, and take fire. So not on our watch, we say, to the severely ill or injured veterans who can't get the care they deserve, the therapists they need to walk again, the treatment they need to talk again, the lifetime of day-to-day help they need to live full and independent lives. When there's no more government funding, or a nursing home seems like the only option, or everyone says there's no hope for recovery, we won't leave one warrior behind. Not on our watch. Find out how you can do your part at findwwp.org.
Man, last night we put on an epic light show.
So epic.
The crowd loved us.
Wait, there were only 4 people out there.
Yeah, but did you see their 4 faces? Their eyes lit up brighter than ours, and we're fireflies.
Yeah, we are.
And we're gonna be out here rocking out our light show at a forest near you, so come check us out.
Check us out.
Whether you're rocking their world or they're rocking yours, some memories never fade. Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yep, he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
When is the best time to talk to your family about staying in touch during a disaster? When floodwaters reach your door? When wildfires are engulfing the edge of your neighborhood? Or an earthquake is destroying buildings? Or is the best time perhaps today? During a disaster, you may not be able to stay in touch with your family or friends as easily as you think. Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Unexpected reactions to smart financial decisions brought to you by feedthepig.org.
Well, I finally did it. I improved my credit score.
You're kidding, right?
No.
How are we supposed to be the bad boys of electro-synth pop if you're out there being responsible? The band is about to be discovered. This is our year.
Yeah, you've been saying that for a while now.
You think anyone in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was worried about their credit score?
I never really thought that.
Of course they weren't. Rock stars aren't supposed to think about that kind of stuff. We're supposed to think about how many guitars we've smashed, write aggressively sensitive power ballads, start questionable fashion trends, tragically break up and blame creative differences.
All right. I thought maybe it was time to take control of my finances, you know? Start using a budget, get out of debt, set some goals.
A budget? Debt? Set some goals? Listen, I knew that we'd have our creative differences, but I was hoping they'd involve a little more scandal.
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
This hour of the Mark Cox Show brought to you by Thomas Helbig, the official St. Louis financial advisor of the Mark Cox Show.
The Mark Cox Show.
I want to compliment your show on how fair and level-headed everything you guys talk about.
Who is this guy? He's saying what we've been saying forever.
Maybe what we need from a conservative standpoint is
The Mark Cox Show.
I respect that. We don't agree.
Listen to both sides.
Let's get it on. Is The Mark Cox Show.
strengths of the Republican Party is that we're a big tent with many diverse views, but the one thing we can all agree on, and that's that in every decision, we make it our highest priority to serve and to protect the American people. We want an immigration policy that's fair, equitable, but that's going to protect our people. We want people coming in to our country based on merit and based on the fact that they are going to love our country and they respect our people in our country. We don't want visa lottery. Pick a lottery ticket. Pick a lottery. We don't want that. So we want it based on merit.
So those are the president's comments a bit earlier today. He's currently having lunch with Republican senators and congressmen and women in West Virginia. He made these comments to them ahead of time. He was talking about immigration. Of course, he talked about how great the economy's doing and all this stuff. I'm sure all of it fell on deaf ears if the Democrats were listening, because they're slightly distracted right now about this memo. What could possibly be in this memo that would have Democrats calling for the House Intelligence Committee chairman to be replaced? What could be in this memo that would have potentially the FBI director threatening to quit if it gets released? Why are there names in this memo that they want to be redacted before they make them into the public? Sure makes you wonder. But remember, just as we move through this today, because the memo could be released tonight or in the morning back to the House Intelligence Committee from the White House with the president's stamp of approval, and then Devin Nunes could release it sometime tomorrow. Bear in mind what that committee is. It's a House Intelligence Oversight Committee. It serves one purpose, so that the people we elect to represent us go to Washington and they oversee what's going on in the administrative branch of government to make sure they're doing their jobs and they're not doing anything scurrilous. And it's their job, if they see potential evidence of that, to bring it into the public light. Something that the 20 members of that committee are the only ones that ever see doesn't help the American people. And if there are congressmen on that committee who are willing to put their careers on the line because they deem this so important, I want to see it. I do. I believe Trey Gowdy. And I believe Ann Wagner, for that matter, who we'll have on the show in the next hour. And I believe Louis Gohmert and John Cornyn and all of these people that I've heard talk about this, they're not all just interested in this for headlines. Listen to this few comments by Cornyn earlier today.
Well, one could draw that conclusion, Lou, and when you see that what this actually is all about is not about divulging any types of sources. This is about transparency and what went on and shouldn't have gone on. I can tell you, I've been calling for a special prosecutor, a second special prosecutor to investigate this. If they're real concerned about anybody putting their hands on the scale or Lady Justice peeking from behind that blindfold, let us go ahead and get a special prosecutor and let them come up with the full transparency.
Yeah, there you have it. So just bear in mind that Sarah Carter's reporting, if you missed this from the last hour, that they want certain names redacted from this memo before it's released, putting extra pressure on the White House. We'll see. I think it's going to be released. I think it's just a matter of time. I think it needs to be released. This is what the White House spokesman said about it this morning. Raj Shah, listen.
The president's been taking, and the White House has taken input from a variety of stakeholders, law enforcement and intelligence agencies. I don't want to get too deep into the process, but some of those have been conveyed privately, and the feedback has been conveyed privately. Some has been conveyed publicly. We hear them, we understand them, but ultimately this is the president's decision. He has the constitutional authority to declassify information, and he's going to take that very seriously.
CNN has been focused, like with a laser, on the fact that the president must have ulterior motives for wanting to release this. Now, bear in mind, ultimately, it's the president who has to make the final decision on whether something like this is released or not. The interesting thing about this is that the president has suggested on a number of occasions that the Russian collusion story was started as an attempt to derail his administration, that there's nothing to it. It's a witch hunt. He's used that several times. I want you to listen to a little bit of what CNN reported on this today, because I think it's important. It's important to hear their take, because they're convinced that the president sees this as an opportunity to derail the Mueller investigation. Now, I guess I have a question for anybody who would like to put themselves in the president's shoes for a minute. And tell me if I'm off base with this, Liz, but if you were accused of something as treasonous as collusion with a foreign country to be elected president, and it's all the media talked about, and it's all your opponents on the Democratic side talked about, and you truly had reason to believe that you know that you're innocent of it, it's really ridiculous, and there's been no evidence of it so far, and you're convinced that it was done for political motives and that they had some people on the inside, and you finally get the evidence from the House Oversight Committee that maybe there was some stuff going on, or we have the texts from the FBI agents, and we know that there have been questions about who paid for the Trump dossier, and when it started being used as the reason to further this investigation. That's what this memo gets down to. For the President of the United States, why wouldn't, more than trying to derail Bob Mueller, this isn't about derailing anything. It's about proving the truth that this has been a witch hunt. But this is how CNN is reporting on this story, with breathless anticipation that this is all somehow proof that the president just wants to blow this investigation up because he's about to get busted. Listen.
The president believes that this controversial secret memo could serve to discredit the entire Russia investigation if it is released. And he's been telling allies and friends in phone calls in recent days that he believes the release of this memo will expose bias among the top ranks of the FBI and therefore show that these investigations have been prejudiced against him since the beginning. Now, all of this is very revealing into the president's mindset, because it shows why he's been so feverish about the release of this memo. As you saw, after he gave his State of the Union address earlier this week, he said 100% he was going to release this memo, even though, according to White House officials, he had not even read the memo at that point. So it really gives you some insight into his thinking behind the release of this memo.
How many Republicans? What are our numbers in the House? It's two something that they've got, the 216 or something like that they have in the House. Just about every single one of them, your representatives, our representative, Ann Wagner, for sure, have read this memo. Right? They've all read the memo. They're all concerned about it. They all agree it's something the American public have the right to know. Why is it bad that the president is equally interested in the American public understanding that when he talks about a swamp and a group of people that may well have been working on an insurance policy against him, that this information shouldn't come out? Why should he be the one to help keep it quiet? It's illogical, folks. Mary, welcome into the program.
Hey, Mark, when I heard you say that the FBI wanted the memo redacted, I laughed out loud. Now, my question to you is, who has priority over whom? Does the FBI answer to the president, or vice versa? And do you think that he will acquiesce to them and redact that memo, if he does, I will be so angry. I don't know, my head will blow up.
Yeah, I hope that he doesn't. Because, like I said, I've never served in the intelligence community, but this is supposedly what they were investigating was the process used to obtain FISA surveillance.
Right.
Not if there are details in there about a tip they got from Omar Hassan with the Mooj over in Iraq somewhere, which is what tipped them off to something over here, then I can understand you redacting Omar's name so that you don't upset the intelligence apple cart.
That's correct.
But if it's about an individual in America who either wanted to unmask Americans or the agents who were involved in the investigation who might not have included all of the information that they got in the report on what was given to the judge, I don't know why in the world we would need to redact those names. Who are you protecting there?
Right. I think his name might be Barack Hussein Obama. My question, though, is who answers to who? Can the FBI tell the president what they want and what they don't want and how he should behave?
No, the president has the ultimate authority on whether he can take any document and declassify it.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I just wanted to get that straight in my brain. So, boy, oh boy, if he does that, I'll just be livid. Okay.
Mary, thank you for the call.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate that. All right, I'm going to get to the phones here in a minute. I've also got a guest coming up for a subject that I've been interested in for a long time on education. I was not happy when they did away with class rank. I was not happy when they would no longer pick a valedictorian at many schools and all this stuff because it made whoever didn't win feel bad. We've got generations of Americans now who've been brought up where everybody gets a trophy. It's wrong. Now, some people are a little concerned because I can speak to this personally. In some of the lower grade levels, even though kids should be getting letter grades now, they're not. And we're going to talk to Jennifer Becerra about this. She studied this issue when it comes to education and some of the dangerous trends she sees this heading toward in this country. I got that coming up. I'll get to your phone calls. And I've still got a couple of tickets to give away to Jeff Beck, Paul Rogers, and Ann Wilson. We'll do that in the next block. How about that? We'll be back right after this.
The Mark Cox Show on FM News Talk 97.1, 98.7, AM 1490, and 97.1talk.com.
Log on to 971talk.com/Allman and you can watch the show live on the Arrowhead Building Supply Studio Cam. Use your mobile device or computer to join the Allman in the Morning live stream. Arrowhead Building Supply Studio Cam, 971talk.com/Allman.
ThrottleNet has got a great operation going, and I guess you don't know what you don't know is the bottom line. If you're smart, you hire somebody to do your IT unless that happens to be your field of expertise, because there's so much that you don't know. There's so many threats that come out on a weekly basis. I don't know how even ThrottleNet keeps up with them, but that's their business. It's what they do. Network security, setting up networks, cloud backups so that you're not completely dependent on the server you've got downstairs in the basement. This is what they do. Work with the best. And also the other advantage for if you own a small business and you've ever looked at IT before, there's a good chance they came to you with a contract that said, yeah, we'll work for you, but we need a 2-year contract out of you. Not with ThrottleNet. If you don't like their work, you tell them to hit the road. And that doesn't happen very often, I can tell you that, if it happens at all, because ThrottleNet, they work hard. They provide their employees with profit sharing, so they work hard so they can continue to make money. That's how it works. 24-hour-a-day monitoring. It's local. If they need to be on site, they're on site. You don't have to wait 2 or 3 days to get someone to fly in from out of town. That's how it works. Call them at 866-826-5966 or just go to their website to find out more, to find out about their ThrottleNet TV updates that they can email to you. It's at throttlenet.com.
What interest rate would you rather pay on your credit card debt? 17% or less than 6% APR? The answer is obvious, Lightstream. Because with Lightstream, you may be able to consolidate credit card debt and dramatically cut your interest rate to as low as 5.49% APR with AutoPay. Plus, radio listeners get an additional rate discount. Just go to lightstream.com/news. With average interest rates on credit card debt at 17% APR, Lightstream could save you thousands in interest. And because Lightstream is a division of SunTrust Bank, one of the nation's largest and strongest financial institutions, you can have complete peace of mind. The application takes just minutes, and there are no fees and no pressure. Just lower rates, one low fixed monthly payment, and huge savings. So if you have good to excellent credit, apply today and get a special interest rate discount when you go to lightstream.com/news. That's lightstream.com/news. Lightstream.com/news.
Subject to credit approval. Rates include 0.5% autopay discount available only when you select autopay prior to loan funding. Terms and conditions apply and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com for important information about limits on Lightstream loans.
Hi, this is Greg Dierberg of Dierberg's Markets. The pressure's on. We're approaching Valentine's Day, and if you're like me, year after year, you search for the perfect gift. I've found that flowers are a great way to show that you care. Dierberg's Florist has the finest quality roses and an awesome selection of full arrangements and bouquets, and they're sure to delight your Valentine. So whether you're just friends, friends in love, or you love to be in love, Dierberg's Florist can help you put together the perfect Valentine's arrangement. It's fresh, it's friendly, and for Valentine's, it's Dierbergs.com.
Family owned and operated since 1972, Lakeside Roofing is celebrating 45 years in the roofing industry and would like to thank you for your support over the years. They specialize in all types of commercial and residential roofing and ensure quality and professionalism. Lakeside offers expert installation and maintenance along with inspection services to fix and prevent problems before they occur. Call 618-344-2800 in Illinois or 314-241-5253 in Missouri to speak to a roofing expert today. For more information, visit lakesideroofing.com. Choose experience. Choose Lakeside.
School Spirit Award voting continues for a chance at $5,000. Vote for your school by February 4th for their chance to meet the top 10. Go to 971talk.com/spirit. Sponsored by the Metro East Home and Garden Show, March 17th and 18th in Edwardsville.
My hands on myself. Think I'll dust them off, put them back up on the shelf. Kiss my little baby girl is in need.
You're listening to The Mark Cox Show. Follow Mark on Twitter at MarkCox971.
I've been feeling it since 1966. Might be over now, but I feel it still.
My duty and the sacred duty of every elected official in this chamber is to defend Americans, to protect their safety, their families, their communities, and their right to the American dream. Because Americans are dreamers too.
Yes, they are. You know, and if you got a kid in school, they're probably dreaming of what college they're going to go to, or this or that or the other thing. But is there a move afoot in America to change how we assess students? Is student assessment in the middle of being revolutionized by forces that we're not completely aware of? I thought it was a fascinating subject because I've seen some of this firsthand with my own kids. Let me get to Jennifer Braceras. She is she's a senior fellow with the Independent Women's Forum. And Jennifer, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Loved your op-ed in the Wall Street Journal on this because I think it needs to draw people's attention back to, you know, we talk sometimes about Common Core and some of these other issues, but I've watched it. I've got two older kids, one's 19, one's 22, both still in school, and I've got a younger one that's not quite in middle school yet. Over the course of those three children, I've seen the education system change dramatically in how it applies grades and GPAs and who it recognizes as, you know, the top of the class. They took away class rankings. A lot of things have changed already.
Yeah, so you and I are in a very similar situation. My oldest is in college, and my youngest of four is 12. So in the course of the time that those kids have gone through both public and private schools in our community, I've seen a huge shift. And I think a lot of other parents who have that span, that age span, have seen what you and I are seeing, which is that schools are focusing less on knowledge and content, more on skills, and the way they are assessing students is based on that change in the curriculum, but it's also based on sort of these newfangled notions that we shouldn't be ranking students or segregating students by ability.
You know, the whole everyone gets a trophy thing, it is, in my opinion, one reason we have the problem we have these days with people who don't know how to handle it when their presidential candidate doesn't get elected. Instead of moving on with their lives, they curl up in a ball and need a coloring book.
Right. Right. No, that's definitely true. And I think, there's the bigger issue, which is that, we're losing a generation of students who are not being taught American history, who are not being taught to appreciate our Constitution, right? So there's that whole substantive issue about what's being taught in the schools, but there's a very practical problem, which you alluded to in your opening, which is this impacts kids who are trying to go to college. And ironically, it impacts some of the very people that the left claims it wants to help, which are the poor, working class, and middle class students. And who it benefits are the elite, right? Because if you have a system of grading where everybody's just getting a mark that says they've met the standard, and there's no class ranks, and there's no differentiation, and no ability to distinguish yourself, then what happens is, inevitably, the elite colleges, how do they select their classes? Well, they select people with money. They select people who go to elite private schools like Andover and Exeter. They select people who fill certain quotas, whether it's athletes or minorities. And so your middle class or working class white kid from suburban Massachusetts or Virginia, how does that kid show that they're intellectually capable of succeeding at Harvard or Yale? They don't.
Right. And you've lived through this. You went to Harvard, right?
I went to Harvard Law.
So you know how you've lived through that selection process, and you've seen how it's changed over the years since you went to school there. You said your youngest daughter is 12. Your youngest child is 12. So what? 5th, 6th grade?
7th.
7th grade now. So in the last couple of years, I don't know if where you live this has changed, but where my kid is in elementary school, they're getting assigned a number for how they're doing on progress, not a grade. Maybe you can explain to folks what the purpose of that is and the weakness of it.
Right. So what a lot of parents of elementary school kids see is they don't get a report card, they get a progress report. And the progress report can be 6 or 7 pages long. It's so long as to be mind-numbing and useless. And rather than assign a grade by subject, math, reading, writing, it will list pages and pages of skills, some of which are relevant, like ability to multiply double digits, right?
Right.
Some of which are not all that relevant. They could be skills like collaborates well with others, more social type of metrics. And for each of those, a number is assigned. Usually it's 1 through 3. Sometimes it's 1 through 4. And what those numbers represent are the highest number is typically that the student has met the standard. The middle number typically means they are progressing towards the standard. And the lowest number means they're struggling. So if your kid is struggling and you see a 1, that tells you something, right?
Sure.
That your kid needs help. But the other numbers don't tell you a thing at all, because basically almost all of the students are progressing towards the standard in January, and almost all of them have met the standard in June. The report cards tell you nothing about your child's strengths and weaknesses, nothing about whether they met the standard with difficulty or with ease. They give you basically no relevant information as a parent.
So you draw the conclusion in your op-ed that it's ultimately the goal. Do you believe to do away with letter grades all the way up through high school?
Yes. So this phenomena that we've seen started in the elementary schools, at least in my area in Massachusetts, over a decade ago, and it's slowly creeping up to the high schools. So, for example, Portland, Maine. By state law, the high schools in Maine are supposed to transfer over to the system. They were supposed to transfer over to it this year, but so many people complained, teachers and parents alike, that they've, in Portland, Maine, pushed it to the following fall. So the incoming class of freshmen in Maine public schools are going to have their entire high school careers evaluated on the system that basically tells employers and colleges nothing.
No, it doesn't. I mean, how? So then eventually, as a result of that, the universities have to change how they judge who they're accepting and who they're not, right? Doesn't this make it easier for them to pick and choose and maybe discriminate a little more?
Oh, absolutely. And it's already started. You see a number of elite private colleges that are already test optional. So you don't have to take the ACT or the SAT, for example, to get into Bowdoin or, any number of elite private colleges now. And you add to that schools that don't have honor rolls, schools that don't have class rank, and now schools that aren't going to be using traditional letter grades. And basically what they're going to judge you on is your personal essay and your recommendations, how much community service you've done, how connected you are, how much money your parents can give, right?
Right.
All of these factors that shouldn't be relevant.
Our guest is Jennifer Braceras, who's a senior fellow with the Independent Women's Forum and has a law degree from Harvard, as I mentioned, and has been involved in Washington for a while. And you've kind of seen this. Who's pushing this? I guess ultimately, who's behind this? Is it the unions? Is it the colleges? Who's pushing this?
Yeah, so that's a very interesting question. In my experience researching this, it is actually not most teachers or unions or parents. It's coming from on high, and it's coming from politicians who want to be able to say that they improved education, right? So you get it from the left and the right. You have politicians like Jeb Bush, who are very in favor of Common Core. Deval Patrick in Massachusetts, a Democrat, same thing, right? So it's not so much ideological as it is self-interested, because if you make it impossible to evaluate how students in schools are doing, it's easier for politicians to say, oh, yes, we've raised the standards for everybody. Everybody is meeting the standard in our state. So it's political, but not necessarily ideological.
Yeah, I see.
And the other people who support it, frankly, are the education consultants who stand to profit from, anytime there's a big change.
Right. Yeah, the money pours in to get ready for the new system.
The money pours in.
Do we know where Betsy DeVos stands on this?
I don't, actually. I would imagine she's opposed, but I'm not sure. And there is some ideological component in the sense that from the perspective of colleges and people who don't believe in merit to begin with, and who they want to pick winners and losers based on their politically correct view of the world.
Right.
Those people support it as well. But on the ground, teachers of every political persuasion, the majority of them oppose this.
Well,
because it makes their job harder. They don't know how to grade somebody based on these mushy standards.
It's a good point. Listen, Jennifer Braceras, I appreciate you being with us today. People can find that op-ed on the I'm sure on the Wall Street Journal website or on the Independent Women's Forum website, which is IWF.org. Correct?
That is correct.
Very good, Jennifer. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for that great information.
Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.
You bet. Appreciate having her on here. That's eye-opening to me. So it's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly who it's coming from. And Jennifer would argue that it's not necessarily ideological, but at the same time, if you've got any common sense and you're opposed to things like Common Core and you think that it matters that if you understand the basic law of nature is that the cream rises to the top. This is not socialism. Not everybody performs at the same level. Some are smarter, some aren't as smart. Some are stronger, some aren't as strong. That's the nature of it. We're stripping our kids of their ability to want to compete when we do things like this, in my opinion. I'll take your phone calls on it. We've got much more ahead for you here. Coming up in the next segment, I promise, I'm going to give away these Jeff Beck tickets, so stick around for that. In the next hour, we're going to have our bottom line segment. Our friend Keith Antone is in, and then we're going to check in with Ann Wagner, who is at that Republican retreat there in White Sulphur Springs, had lunch with the president today. We'll get to all of that and more straight ahead on The Mark Cox Show.
This is The Mark Cox Show. Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather with Dave Murray.
Kind of a mix of clouds and sunshine. Any spotty sprinkles or flurries would be around in the morning. They're completely out of the picture for the afternoon. It's windy and it's colder. 39 for the high, but look for dropping temperatures much of the afternoon. Tonight, crystal clear skies, very cold, down to 15. Friday, partly sunny, quiet and cold, 32 for the high at best on Friday. I'm Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray for FM News Talk 97.1.
Well, if you've gotten out to the gym, you've been trying to work out, maybe you've been riding the bike indoors, walking on the treadmill, whatever it is, guys, all of us at some point start to feel a age, right? You do. Everybody assumes they just write it off. Well, I'm getting older, can't do this, don't recover as quickly from injuries I used to, a little extra weight around the middle. It doesn't have to be that way. The folks at Victory Men's Health have figured this out, and you're going to enjoy working with them because you can be you again. You just have to take that first step. You go to Victory Men's Health. They're going to take a blood test. You're going to meet their staff doctor, the urologist who works on staff there, who oversees your medical treatment to determine what it is that's causing you to be tired, to take longer to recover from those hard workouts or, playing softball, whatever the case may be. Maybe it's low testosterone, maybe it's mineral imbalance, could be a variety of things, but you won't know until you go see them. They can treat all of this. If ED is part of that, they've got great therapies for that too. They've got the Priapus shot, which has had tremendous results, and a new sound wave therapy takes 20 to 30 minutes in the office and improves blood flow, and also tremendous feedback from people on that one as well. So go to Victory Men's Health, just a short 15-minute drive from downtown St. Louis. Go to their website, give them a call, set up your first appointment at victorymenshealth.com.
Watch the Mark Cox Show live on the Granite Transformation Studio Cam at 971talk.com/Cox. Log on to our website or use your mobile device to join the daily live stream and watch the show. It's the Granite Transformation Studio Cam at 971talk.com/Cox.
If you're retiring in the next 5 years, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, First Vice President Investments with Stifel and host of On the Money, heard every Saturday from 11 till noon on FM News Talk 97.1. Retirement is a huge step, and when it comes to investing your retirement assets, you can't afford to make mistakes. It's vitally important that you work with an experienced professional to guide you through important retirement decisions. If you're retiring soon, we should meet to develop a clear plan for your retirement goals. Your meeting meeting is an opportunity to understand your retirement situation and discuss how you can proceed. Of course, your consultation is free of charge and requires no obligation on your part. If you're retiring in the next 5 years, now is the time to start planning. To schedule your free retirement plan review, visit bobstockdale.com or call me at 636-448-7655. That's bobstockdale.com or 636-448-7655. Stifel, member FINRA, SIPC, and NYSE.
Debt can be stressful, especially credit card debt with its outrageous interest rates and fees. Did you know, unless you pay your bill in full, you get charged interest, even on the part of the bill you do pay? Don't take my word for it. It's right there on your statement. I'm Michael Mohan with Community Mortgage. You don't need to live under the stress of debt when there is a very good chance I can help you get rid of it by using the equity in your home. Consolidating that debt into a fixed-rate, tax-deductible loan in the threes will free up hundreds of dollars every month. And we can do this without adding any closing costs onto your loan. Plus, you'll skip 2 months of mortgage payments. Don't wait any longer. Call now for a straightforward review of your loan options. The call is free, but the savings could be life-changing. Remember, whether you are buying, refinancing, or need to consolidate debt, call me, Michael Mohan, 314-336-6050, 314-336-6050, or online at communitymortgagestl.com.
Community Mortgage LLC, APRs in the threes, NMLS 250353224143.
Jamie Allman in the morning.
Hey, Friday, well, the old blue wall, seems to be a bunch of bull. We got Annie Fry because it's Friday, Jimmy Carafano, and Kaylee McEnany from the RNC.
On FM News Talk
97.1. To the Mark Cox Show. Find everything Mark Cox at 971talk.com/Cox.
We don't raise as much money as the Republicans, quite simply because they got this massive tax cut that benefits corporations and very, very wealthy people.
Yeah, little secret there, Mr. Perez. And here's the secret for you. You don't manage government very well, and you clearly don't manage the DNC very well. Last year in 2017, the Republican National Committee took in a record amount of cash. And the Democrats are hurting right now. Their donations are way down, and they can't figure it out. They can't figure it out to the point that they sat on their hands through the entire State of the Union because that's their way of opposing, of resisting Donald Trump. Well, guess what? Your donors are sitting on their hands too, sitting on their wallets too, because you're on the wrong track, Mr. Perez. It's not because the tax cut didn't happen until December, and he's claiming that's why the Republicans have raised more money than them. What a pathetic excuse for a chairman. No kidding. Wow. Let me get to a couple of phone calls. Folks calling in about our last guest on here on education. Katie, you're on the radio. Thanks for calling.
Hi. Hey, I can think of a few consequences here. One is for the parent who knows what his child's aptitude is, and without a letter grade, how do we judge whether or not the teacher's doing their job?
Right.
Another is for the child whose needs aren't being met because they're lumped in with everyone else, and their aptitude is not being met. And then the third is, what about that teacher the following year if the teacher, because they're lazy or whatever, which I raised 3 kids, I went to public school, and we did have consequences like that in some areas. But a teacher that is the follow-up teacher the next year, they know when they have a teacher that didn't do their job because they have to make up for it with that student, and it makes their job harder.
Yeah, I started to say this when I had Jennifer on the radio, but I didn't want to waste her time with it. The bottom line is, I've served on a local city council for the last 3.5 years, and my term will be up shortly. But one thing I've observed at these public meetings is that the same 10 or 12 people come to every meeting. So people don't get involved in their local government enough, and they don't get involved in their school board. I mean, I would just ask this question. When's the last time you attended, if you have a student in school, when's the last time you attended one of your school board meetings?
Well, I don't still have students in school. And to be honest with you, we had one of those teachers, and we pulled their children out and began homeschooling for that very reason, because the child was receiving such high marks, and we said, but why isn't she reading? But why isn't, and it came down to the social programs were such, and they were placed in such high regard that our daughter was very well behaved, and that's why the teacher raved that she was wonderful and she got good grades, but she was not learning to read, so we pulled her out.
Wow. Katie, thank you for the call. I appreciate that. Yeah, and that question's to the broader audience. When's the last time you attended one of your school board meetings? When's the last time you really paid attention to the slate of candidates running for school board? Because if these kinds of decisions are already being put in place in, for example, the Rockwood School District, where, I've got a kid out there who's getting 1s, 2s, 3s for progress instead of a grade in elementary school. And I know that in early elementary school, there's never been grades. But at some point, when you're a year or two away from middle school, you better start being graded so you have an idea what you're getting into. If you're not paying attention to those things, your district, too, could go down this path that Jennifer's talking about eventually. Hey, Rick, you're on the radio.
Yeah, I appreciate your show.
Thank you.
I'll tell you right now, it's the progressives that control our Board of Education, the Department of Education. They infiltrated our education system. They infiltrated our government. It's a takeover. It's all around us.
Yeah. No. It's she was arguing that it wasn't really an ideological thing from the left or the right, but I have to believe that there is some of that in there because she pointed out Jeb Bush and Common Core. Obviously, he's a rhino Republican, but he was in favor of a different approach to education than I am. So it's not completely ideological, but I would agree with you. What's the purpose of this?
Well, progressives, basically, they're right and left. They're socialists. They just want to take over big government. Divide and conquer.
Yeah, it's a good point. Rick, thank you for the call. Appreciate you listening. I think this is something that people have to pay closer attention. That's why I wanted to do the interview. I have always worried about this, and I've even voiced those concerns to teachers the last couple of years, but I had not seen someone with the background that Jennifer had addressing these concerns and pointing out this is happening all over the country. Hey, Lauren, I appreciate you calling in. You are a school counselor?
Yes. Well, actually, I retired in August.
Okay.
But yes, I was a school counselor for the city of St. Louis, and I see how we enable our children and our families. But in my son's children's school in Gilbert, Arizona, they take it to a higher level, the enabling. Children in the elementary school, whenever they take a chapter test or a unit test, if the kid doesn't do well, they can take the same test over.
Okay.
And they don't average out, so they are teaching our kids that they don't even have to have high expectations.
My son got to retake tests in high school. We had to warn him before he went away to college. You don't get a do-over in college. I'm not quite sure what they're teaching you here.
When you are employed, you don't get do-over.
Correct. Yeah, no. That's a great point. And did you see this trend toward moving away from letter grades when you were still involved? When you were still employed?
Yes. They our report cards, they did have progress reports, but that was every other, and they did have a report card, but it was a number, and it would say meets expectations, most of the time, is progressing or does not. So yes, totally they did that.
Here we go. Yeah, Lauren, thank you for that insight. I appreciate it.
No problem.
You bet.
Thank
yeah,
you.
it's a great point she makes. You just retake the test until you get a better grade. Are you kidding me? What does that teach you about life? It teaches you that you can slack off until the last minute and just keep retaking the test till you get a better score. It's not how things work. It's not how you're judged at work in most places. It's not. Paul, thanks for calling the program.
Hey, Mark, you know why our party has more money is because we work. If you look at the election, most of Trump's vote came in after we all got off work or before we went to work, not in the middle of the day.
It's a good point. Yeah.
So there it is in a nutshell right there.
Well, the more people work, and therefore more Republicans are going to get more money in their checks. And so maybe Tom Perez is right. That's why we're a richer party.
Well, I mean, I'm proud to be a richer party. And we believe in our party, too. That's
exactly.
The key right there, too.
Yeah. Paul, thanks for the call.
Thanks, Mark.
I appreciate that. It's he makes a good point there. Let me get to William. Thanks for the phone call.
Hi, Mark. How are you doing today?
I'm well. Thanks.
You know what? I'm kind of go retro on you here for a minute. I was raised in a Teamster union household, voted Democrat till 1985. I voted for Bill Clinton, didn't vote for him the second time. All right, moving forward, they haven't had a new idea other than obstruction in 60 years. And they're getting worse all the time. It's about their power. They're not classical Democrats. They're communists or socialists nowadays. Now, we had, under Obama, 8 years of a do-nothing Republican Congress, okay? Okay, we voted in a businessman because that's what we wanted. He was not a politician. A lot of people wanted to stand in his way. Now they're kind of sort of getting on board, and I think they'd better do it. They should release, or they had better release this memo because you want collusion, Russia. Okay, let's check the Democrats. The FBI stood in the way and tried to throw the election to Hillary Clinton. They're pissed about that. They're doing everything they can to bring him down. Let's look at the real factors. The collusion is on the side of the Democrats. They've done everything they can to throw the election to her. They scream, impeach Trump, impeach Trump. He's doing a marvelous job. I couldn't be happier. But if these memos are not released, if this is not brought out, just like they covered up for Hillary Clinton ad infinitum, I'm done with the Republican Party. I may be even done voting.
Wow.
But I tell you right now, there are people out there that are ready to go to the second revolution over all this. And I'm curious about it. I've talked to them. Maybe you consider them extremists and silly, but they are ready to just do whatever is necessary.
It takes.
Thank
Yep.
you.
William, thank you for the call. I tell you what, 314-969-9797. If you want to win a couple tickets to see Jeff Beck, Paul Rogers, and Wilson, we'll take caller number 10. 314-969-9797. In the next hour, the bottom line and Congresswoman Ann Wagner. Stick around.
This hour of the Mark Cox Show brought to you by Thomas Helbig, the official St. Louis financial advisor of the Mark Cox Show.
Hey everybody, this is Phil with the Range St. Louis West. All firearm and personal protection training is not created equal. It's not where you get training that matters most, it's who you are trained by. The Range St. Louis West has the most qualified trainers in the area, including active and prior law enforcement, military, first responders, professional shooters, and NRA instructors. Get trained by the true experts at the Range St. Louis in Baldwin. To see our list of training courses, visit us at therangestl.com. That's therangestl.com. Are you ready?
Hey, Allman here for Aphrodite Granite, AphroditeGranite.com. 3 generations in St. Louis, and now you can get a beautiful granite kitchen starting at just $19.95. Prices at Aphrodite up to 20% lower than the big box stores. Plus, they're the place where the contractors as well as the designers go, so you can't lose. 2 convenient locations, Chesterfield Valley and Sunset Hills. AphroditeGranite.com. That's AphroditeGranite.com.
When you're hiring, you want qualified candidates fast, and it can be hard to know where to find them. More than 3 million businesses use Indeed.com, the world's #1 job site. Whether you need entry-level or highly skilled employees, Indeed helps you find great talent and make the right hire. Indeed is offering new users a $50 credit to give their first job post premium visibility as a sponsored job. Redeem this offer at Indeed.com/promo. That's Indeed.com/promo. Terms, conditions.
KFTK FM, Florissant. KFTK AM East St. Louis. K254CR St. Louis.
The Mark Cox Show, brought to you by Thomas Helbig, the official St. Louis financial advisor of The Mark Cox Show.
Find everything Mark Cox at 971talk.com/Cox. FM News Talk 97.1.
A 12-year-old girl accused of opening fire in her classroom. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. First responders in L.A. just holding a briefing on the shooting that left 5 injured at a middle school. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal live in L.A.
Lisa, the middle school female student was taken into custody after a shooting happened inside a Sal Castro school classroom west of downtown L.A. 2 15-year-olds were hit by gunfire, including a boy who was shot in the head. He's in critical condition. The other was hit in the wrist. After questioning how this girl got a gun in the first place, the LAUSD School Police Chief Steve Zipperman refused to answer questions about that very topic.
One thing that is not going to occur today is to get into any kind of debate on the issue of LAUSD's current random searching policy and whether or not this incident had any effect on that or not.
He did say there are numerous safety policies in place at each school, Lisa.
Thanks, Jessica. The White House says the president has read the memo that a House committee voted to release, and sources tell Fox News he will approve making it public tomorrow. Fox's Jared Halpern live on Capitol Hill.
Well, if that memo is released tomorrow, it would be over the objections of the FBI director appointed by President Trump. The agency has expressed grave concerns with omissions in the 4-page Republican drafted memo. Democrats on the House Intelligence Committee say the purpose is to undermine the Russia investigation. Top Republicans say the memo will show abuse of intelligence programs during the investigation and the possible contacts between Russian officials and the Trump campaign. Lisa.
Jared, the president not mentioning the memo as he addressed lawmakers at a Republican retreat in West Virginia today.
We have to be willing to give a little in order for our country to gain a whole lot.
Urging bipartisan compromise for comprehensive immigration reform. Democrats don't want other immigration issues attached to a fix for the so-called dreamers. Fox News, fair and balanced.
The clock is ticking. Every day you put off buying life insurance can cost you big time. The older you get, the more you'll have to pay. And a sudden accident or unexpected illness could cause your rates to skyrocket or even make you uninsurable. Beat the clock. Call SelectQuote now. No hassle, no obligation. In minutes, you'll have a choice of your best rates from up to 10 highly rated life insurance companies. Richard, 40 years old, takes meds to control his cholesterol. Still, SelectQuote got him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $25 a month. Under $1 a day. Don't risk your family's security another minute. Get your free quote now. Just call 800-694-1010. That's 800-694-1010. 800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
97.1 News Time 2:03. Good afternoon. I'm Jason Church. We've got some breaking news out of St. Charles County. Fox 2 is reporting that a standoff with a suicidal man has ended at the Weldon Springs Shell gas station. However, the man had a live mortar in his vehicle. Current information indicates that the bomb squad is working to remove the explosive device, and the people in the area have been asked to shelter in place for the time being. Stay tuned for more information on this developing story. The Environmental Protection Agency has released a proposal to partially remove the radioactive waste at the Westlake landfill. The landfill contains waste linked to the Manhattan Atomic Bomb Project. The partial removal, called Excavation Plus, is expected to take 5 years to implement. The St. Louis Fire Department responded to a record number of calls in 2017, but for the first time in the history of the department, there was only one death as a result of fire. That death happened last June when a woman died in a fire in the Bevo neighborhood. Now you can get our 97.1 News Flash Briefing on your Alexa smart speaker. Enable the FM News Talk 97.1 skill via your Amazon Alexa app today.
Get your truly free credit score and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma. Download the Credit Karma app today. Credit Karma. Get knowing.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-333-1750. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-333-1750. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-333-1750. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-333-1750. 800-333-1750.
Mark Cox here for Transitions. Let's face it, moving a loved one into independent care, assisted living, or nursing care is emotional. Don't face that alone. Just ask Sharon at Transitions. This is a local business owned by a family I've known for 15 years. They'll treat your loved one like family. With Transitions, there's never a cost to you. Sharon will personally meet with you to find the perfect fit for your loved one. No matter where you are in the metro area, Transitions can help. Don't be afraid to ask. Go to justasksharon.com. That's justasksharon.com.
People make your business work. But how do you find the right talent? ZipRecruiter. One click posts your job to over 100 top job boards. Then, smart matching technology instantly alerts quality candidates about your job. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
To try ZipRecruiter for free, just go to ZipRecruiter.com/talk. That's ZipRecruiter.com/talk.
FM News Talk 97.1, The Mark Cox Show.
I want to compliment your show on how fair and level-headed everything you guys talk about.
Who is this guy? He's saying what we've been saying forever.
Maybe what we need from a conservative standpoint is
The Mark Cox Show.
I respect that. We don't agree.
Listen to both sides.
This,
let's get it on,
is The Mark Cox Show.
Working together, we've accomplished extraordinary things for the American people over the last year. And I really believe this is just the beginning. You know, Paul Ryan called me the other day, and I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but I will say that he said to me, he has never, ever seen the Republican Party so united, so much in like with each other. But literally the word united was the word he used. It's the most united he's ever seen the party, and I see it too.
There you have it, some of the president's comments this morning in West Virginia, where he was speaking to Republicans who were attending that retreat. And, you know, he talked a little bit about that. He talked about the economy doing well. He talked about immigration reform and other things they want to try to get done. And then he was going to sit down and have lunch with them and then fly back to Washington. The memo is supposed to be released in the morning, we're told, back to the House Intelligence Committee, and then it's up to Devin Nunes to release it. So that's kind of where that stands at this hour. Coming up a little later, about 2:25, we're going to check in with Congresswoman Ann Wagner, who's actually in West Virginia at that retreat. So she was at the luncheon with the president and listened to the speech, and we'll get her take on the State of the Union and the train wreck and all of that stuff coming up here in just a couple of minutes. I promise we'll get to that. First, though, let's get to our guest. Liz, please.
Here's the bottom line.
Here's the bottom line.
We need to get to the bottom of this.
Get to the bottom of this.
We've got to get to the bottom of this.
The bottom line on the Mark Cox Show.
That's the only way we're going to get to the bottom of this.
That's the bottom line.
Truth. You can't handle the truth.
All right. Keith Antone joining us, the man with the golden pipes, local radio host. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me back, Mark.
Absolutely. I appreciate having you back.
Yeah.
I know you're in a great mood because you watched that State of the Union, and like 77% of Americans, you agreed that was a great speech.
I did. I represent all 7 of the African Americans that watched the speech. So here, as the official representative of the African American black folk, Come on, Mark. I wouldn't care what he did or what he said. You would think it was just the best thing since sliced bread. Am I right or wrong?
I thought it was a great speech.
No, it really was. No, in all seriousness, it was good. I mean, it was the first time he ever seen presidential and human, and he didn't insult someone because they must have taken his phone from him. And I said it earlier on this radio station this past week that they must have gave him his meds so that he could just kind of pipe down and be cool.
I have to play something here, and then I want to get your reaction to it. From this is Maxine Waters' reaction, her rebuttal to the State of the Union address.
After Trump defended white supremacists, targeted Muslims with his travel ban, described Mexicans as rapists, and mocked people with disabilities, it's impossible to believe him when he tries to declare that he wants to bring the country together. One speech cannot and does not make Donald Trump presidential. He's not presidential, and he never will be presidential. He claims that he's bringing people together, but make no mistake, he is a dangerous, unprincipled, divisive, and shameful racist.
What a horrible woman she is.
I'm sorry, he was talking about Nancy Pelosi, and I played it for Maxine Waters. I'm sorry. Do you believe that Donald Trump is a terrible racist?
No, I don't. I think he's a privileged bigot, and I can think of some other words. I don't think he's a racist. I think he's a homophobic. I think he's a whole lot of things, but I don't think he's a racist. No, I don't think he is. But, hey, listen, he sure speaks to the racist community. I mean, here I am. I read an article today in preparation. I actually prepared today, Mark. Okay. I actually prepared today. Right. I won't go off the cuff, but I was reading online at Diversity Inc., and the title of the article was State of the Union, a dog whistle to racists. And who but that David Duke, the former KKK Grand Wizard, he was one of the first to commend President Donald Trump on his State of the Union and saying that it was just one of the best speeches he had ever heard, and Americans are dreamers too. So I wouldn't go as far as to call him a racist. I think he's a whole lot of things, inconsiderate. I think he could be. I mean, there's a whole lot of other things I could call him, but I personally don't think he's a racist.
So if after a Barack Obama State of the Union, Louis Farrakhan, who apparently he had a picture with that they agreed to hide throughout his presidency, they didn't want anybody to see his affiliation with Farrakhan. If Farrakhan had come out and endorsed his speech as the greatest thing he'd ever seen, would people come out and call the president an anti-Semite?
They would.
Because he was connected with Louis Farrakhan.
Right.
I mean, he didn't ask for Farrakhan's support to come out. Donald Trump can't help whether or not David Duke preferred his presidency over Hillary Clinton. Right. If it had been Ted Cruz, there's a very good chance for David Duke, he would have preferred the Republican candidate over the Democrat. Why does that mean that they're a bigot or that they're a racist? Because, I mean, Diversity Inc. drew this conclusion.
Yeah. This was if you go out on Diversity Inc. and it's online, and that was the title, and I can show it to you. But let me tell you this though, Mark. Here's what I want to tell you. There was a guilt by association attached to. You remember a preacher out of Chicago by the name of Reverend Jeremiah Wright?
I've got sound bites from him right here. I can play you a drop. Absolutely.
And so just because he said what he said about damn America,
right?
And so that was President
Obama's pastor.
His pastor for 20 years.
He attended that church for years.
Years. And so he had to disassociate himself with Obama because he was getting so much flack from the American community, from the right wing.
But Trump didn't do that. He got awards from the NAACP before. I've got bites here with Jesse Jackson praising him for the money he donated to the Rainbow Coalition.
The money he donated. That's it, Mark. The money he
donated. So they loved him when he was donating money to him, and now he's a racist.
Too if you give me $50.
Now he's a racist because he's not donating to them anymore. See, I just think that term gets thrown around too much.
It does.
Maxine Waters cherry picks a couple of things that happen and draws the conclusion that Donald Trump is a racist. I don't think what he said about certain illegal criminals from Mexico painted all Hispanics as criminals. I don't buy that argument. It was just turned around to be used for politics during the last election cycle. What Donald Trump has done for this country since he's been president, despite all of the smoke on Russia and all this stuff, has been positive. What negative thing can you come up with that he's done that's hurt America or Americans or African Americans?
Well, I won't say it's a negative, but I think he just outright told a lie. I mean, in the last time I was on this program, you and I got into it. I've got the statistics now from 2011 to 2017 when Obama, the unemployment for African Americans was right around 16%. It went down in January 2017 when he left office. It was right about 7% or 6.8. Now it's 5.99. It's about a 0.5% that is dropped from the Obama administration. He cut it down from 16%, Mark.
It's a record low.
It's a record low, but he didn't have to go far. 0.5%? Come on, you want to reward a fish because he swims? Come on.
Hey, Keith.
Yes.
What the hell do you have to lose?
0.5% is 0.5%.
I know, but you want to reward a fish because he swims, and that's what I think you're doing.
So this is my point.
Okay.
When Barack Obama took over from George W. Bush, clearly the economy was in the crapper. Unemployment was up. People were without jobs. We're in a recession. Whatever's going on. If that hadn't been the case, and the next month Barack Obama had at the end of the next year had seen a drop. If the next year Barack Obama had seen a drop in the unemployment rate, you can darn well bet he's taking credit for it.
If it was as high as it was, and it was about 16%, Mark, you don't want to give President Obama for anything.
No, that's not true.
I think you're going to blame all of the tsunamis and all of the hurricanes on Obama, right?
No. Listen,
Hurricane Katrina. Obama's fault.
That was global warming, right?
Global warming.
That's what the president said. He blamed it on global warming, and everybody else blamed it on George W. Bush. I was listening to the Democrat rebuttal on immigration reform and the deal the president offered him on DACA and what he had to give in return. And now the Democrats have claimed there's no way that he's against legal immigration because he doesn't want realistic controls on who's coming into this country. Listen as I play you your President Obama's comments from 2013 on immigration reform.
Real reform means stronger border security, and we can build on the progress my administration's already made, putting more boots on the southern border than at any time in our history, and reducing illegal crossings to their lowest levels in 40 years. Real reform means establishing a responsible pathway to earn citizenship.
Here it is. Listen.
A path that includes passing a background check, paying taxes and a meaningful penalty, learning English, and going to the back of the line behind the folks trying to come here legally.
Scattered applause. Wait for it.
And real reform means fixing the legal immigration system to cut waiting periods and attract the highly skilled entrepreneurs and engineers that will help create jobs and grow our economy.
Sounds to me like President Obama was describing changes to the legal immigration system that would be more merit-based, so we're attracting people who, I don't care if they're from an S-hole country or not, if they're an engineer or a doctor, we're glad to have them. He's talking about that there. He's talking about, giving people maybe a path to citizenship, but they're going to have to work for it, they're going to have to earn it, and they're going to have to get in line behind the other 50,000 people who are already trying to go through the process legally. And yet today, the Democratic Party doesn't agree with any of what President Obama said back in 2013. Effectively, Donald Trump has offered them that deal.
You have no argument out of me. So, next point. No argument out of me.
You agree? You think that we could fix immigration reform tomorrow with what the president offered?
I don't have a problem. And let me just say this. I think that here's where I think Maxine Waters said it best. Fundamentally, there has been a line drawn in the sand, and you and I both know, whether it's here in St. Louis, in Jeff City, in Springfield, and in Washington, D.C., this is the game that these politicians are playing, and it doesn't matter. It just seems like to me, if it's not my ideal, it's not a good ideal. And I think what's happening here, Mark, I think fundamentally it is basically about the same plan. And I think that Trump probably does have some good ideals. And I know you're going to tell me that he did all these things. And nobody, I said it here Tuesday evening on this radio station, nobody has yet told me about what he has done for the blacks and unemployment. What jobs did he create? Nobody can point to that. I keep asking, tell me what he did. He's done nothing but sit in the White House. That's what he's done. That's what I feel.
Well, no, okay, and that's a legitimate.
It's a legitimate point,
right? I can't come out and tell you a program that he's done that would have directly impacted
highway jobs,
African Americans. What I can tell you, is that when you're approaching or right at 3% GDP, possibly going over that next year once this tax reform kicks in, a rising tide floats all boats. Everyone is going to benefit from this.
And I agree. And you know what I said off the air to Speaker Tim Jones? I said off the air, I said, listen, I, as an entrepreneur, made the most money I've ever made in my life under Republican administrations. Doesn't say the guys were right. It just might have been timing. But I'm saying, and I took a real big hit during the Obama. So I don't really care who's in there as long as, again, my family can benefit and millions of others can benefit and we have a great economy and there is low unemployment and all those other things that come along with it.
Hey, by the way, since I've got you on the air, okay, I just want to say I'm glad I could have you in here because it's the beginning of Black History Month. Right. Don't you think?
Yeah.
You pointed this out to me. You thought I was having you on today for that reason.
Right. And I've got my Make America Safe Again, Impeach Trump hat.
Oh, I thought it was a Make America Great. Oh, it's a Make America Safe Again.
Make America Safe Again, Impeach Trump. I personally, where's my camera? Which camera?
It's right. You're looking right up here.
Right here?
Yeah,
okay, here we are. See, Make it safe again, Impeach Trump.
Is that where does it say Impeach Trump on it?
I wrote it on the back.
Oh, I see. Okay, all right. I'm just looking.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
You bet.
Always have a good time.
I'm thrilled to have you here. That article you gave me was from Diversity Inc.
Yes.
What in the hell's diversity?
Well, I could be wrong, but I believe diversity is an old wooden ship that was used during the Civil War era.
Keith Antone, thank you. You're a good sport.
All right, thanks, Mark.
I appreciate it. All right, man. 314-969-9797, 866-455-9797. We're going to check in with Congresswoman Ann Wagner, who's at that Republican retreat out of West Virginia. We'll pick her brain. We'll get to more of your phone calls coming up on The Mark Cox Show.
We've accomplished extraordinary.
The Mark Cox Show on FM News Talk 97.1, 98.7, AM 1490, and 97.1talk.com.
What kind of future we're going to have and what kind of a nation we're going to be.
What happens next?
1 year later, more take-home pay. 2.4 million new jobs. Hispanic American, African American unemployment, the lowest rate ever. The stock market, biggest tax cuts, rising wages. The state of our union is strong.
Happens here.
More work to be done.
FM News Talk 97.1. Younger, smarter, better.
Hi, Chad Hansen with Hansen's Tree Service. Take advantage of our reduced winter rates January, February, and March. Whether it's tree trimming or removal, make sure your trees are ready for the spring storm season. Call Hansen's today at 636-379-1830 or hansenstree.com.
Are you taking Viagra or Cialis for ED? Lions Drug now has a huge low-cost alternative called sildenafil.
Get sildenafil, the same active ingredient in Viagra, for less than $2 a pill, a cost savings of over $50 per dose. A prescription from your doctor is required, and free discreet mailings included. Visit Lions Drug online at lionsdrug.com.
So what are you waiting for? Call us today at 844-676-2247.
Hey guys, Glover here for the All Financial Group. A new year is our chance to make a new start, and if one of your 2018 resolutions is to finally get serious about your finances and about your retirement, then I have a challenge for you. I want you to follow through on that resolution by making an appointment to meet with Steve All at the All Financial Group. You've already done the hard part, which is to work for decades, put away money for retirement. Now it's time to crunch the numbers and find out where you stand. The sooner you do it, the easier it will be to actually fulfill that resolution to retire. Get started today with your own full-blown retirement review with Steve by calling 636-230-8824. Mention my name, Dave Glover, and there's no charge for that review. Again, that's 636-230-8824, or sign up online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
The All Financial Group is a financial services firm that offers a broad array of products and services, including life insurance and annuities, licensed in Missouri and Illinois. Valentine's Day is coming. Let Walter Knoll Florist help you show your love. Walter Knoll Florist has long-stemmed roses with bigger flowers and delivered arranged in a beautiful vase. Or select from a variety of traditional or exotic arrangements that say I love you. Add chocolate-covered strawberries from the Blue Owl. Order online at WKF.com or call 1-800-341-ROSE. Or stop by any Walter Knoll Florist location and pick up a dozen roses for just $24.99. Walter Knoll Florist. We know flowers.
Lonely is the night when you find yourself alone. Your demons come to light and your mind is not your own. Lonely is the night when there's no one left to call.
You're listening to The Mark Cox Show. Follow the show on Facebook. Facebook.com/The Mark Cox Show.
Every day we're removing government burdens and empowering our citizens to follow their hearts and to live out their dreams. The priorities of Republicans in Congress are the priorities of the American people. We believe in strong families, and we believe in strong borders.
Those were just a few of the president's comments this morning at the Republican retreat there in West Virginia, where Congresswoman Ann Wagner is, even as we speak, and she's joining us right now on the phone. Ann, how are you?
I'm good. I've ducked out of one of the sessions here, and pleased to talk to you. We had a great address by the president today at lunch, kind of building on the themes that he laid out at the State of the Union. More about kind of the president's delivering on the promises that he made to the American people, and building upon even those promises that I, too, made to the people of the 2nd District. So had the vice president last night. It's been quite a group of superstars, and it's been a good conference.
That's great. Before I get to any more on that, were you on that train yesterday?
Oh, yes, I was. I was in the third car back, and a terrible tragedy. I was very shaken yesterday. I'm doing better today. Kind of have a little whiplash and a big old bruise up my right leg, but I'm going to be fine with the help of a little ibuprofen. And
wow!
But prayers go out to those who lost their lives yesterday. I know that there were 3 in the sitting in the front seat of that garbage truck, and one is dead. One is in very critical condition, and I'm not certain of the status of the third gentleman. There were a number that were taken from the train to a hospital to be checked for concussions, neck injuries, some things of that nature, but they're all doing fine, and it was just a very scary moment, and very sad.
Yeah, watching the news coverage, it's amazing there weren't more of you on board who were injured. Concussions, things like that.
It hit pretty hard, and I was, like I said, we had several in our car just because we were third back. I saw it all, the devastation out my window. It was quite a scary sight, and you just didn't know what happened, right? And in this day and world, everybody was anxious and nervous, and I saw the front of the train. It was smashed in, the engine. They decoupled us from it and put something on us that actually pushed us backwards to about 18 miles to Charlottesville, where we loaded buses then and finally made it to our destination. We had a little prayer service and devotional and a little bit of a sober start to our meeting, but we're back at it today.
Well, good. I'm guessing now, because I've been watching news reports on this, that there's no concern that this was anything other than just an accident, right?
I really think it was an accident and just a terrible tragedy oftentimes, and people try and run around those gates that are down at railroad crossings, and they shouldn't. They really shouldn't. And I have a sense that was from the angle that it looked like the trash truck was hit to me, that's probably what happened. Exactly.
Well, good. I'm glad.
I don't think it was anything nefarious, just a terrible accident.
Glad you're safe, and glad everyone else is safe as well. Saw you in the audience at the State of the Union the other night. What's your reaction to the speech? I know it was a long one, but I thought the president pulled off probably his best effort yet.
He did, and you can feel it even with him in the room today. I sat at one of the front tables, and he's really excited, I think, about the agenda that he's laid forward and the accomplishments. And as I said, the promises kept. He called it Promise Plus today. He's a quote from him earlier today was, "We've fulfilled more promises than we've promised." So he literally talked about the removal of all the burdensome regulations and red tape that trickle down and affect, everyday Americans in terms of costs and compliance. He talked about the judges and the courts, and certainly talked a lot about the tax cuts and jobs bill, which has just been terrific. I mean, 2.4 million jobs created and filled in the last year, $8 trillion in new wealth through the gains in the stock market alone, unemployment at a 45-year low, rising wages. We've got over 3 million Americans now that have seen bonuses from their companies. Companies are talking about voluntarily raising some of their minimum wages. They are expanding and bringing jobs back. And what's really exciting is I am actually starting today hearing from constituents. I've gotten calls and some texts about some of the extra money that they're beginning to see in their paychecks.
That's good.
February now. So
I'm glad to hear that. While you all are there focusing on what the agenda is going to be, and I want to ask you about that question in a minute, but the rest of America seems hyper-focused on the release of this memo. Have you guys been talking about that at all? Do you think the president needs to get this released to Devin Nunes tomorrow?
Well, I do. I said it first on your show I think it was last week, as a matter of fact, that I had spent some time down in the SCIF being briefed, reading the memo, and I was very concerned and disturbed with some of the things that I read in that 4-page memo, and discussed it with the Intel staff. I believe in transparency. I believe that there were abuses, both at the Department of Justice, the FBI, dealing specifically with the domestic side of the FISA system. And I believe that the American people have a right to see this, and that Intel should release the memo. And I have been on board with that probably before it was a hashtag.
Ann, let me ask this. Part of the request today that's come from the FBI is that it can't be released until a bunch of names in the memo are redacted. And I know you can't give me details on what's in the memo yet, but I've been under the impression this is a memo about the FISA process. I'm wondering what national security is at risk in releasing that.
And quite frankly, there are names that are out in the public domain right now that could be associated with the memo. I can't think of anything that I read, now it's been about 10 days or so ago, that should be redacted. If the minority wants to do a separate statement, if the FBI if there was something very specific and small that they would like redacted, I'm sure the committee would take a look at that. But I honestly, Mark, can't think of anything. I think the American people need to see what this Obama Justice Department was up to, and everyone cares deeply about their privacy and privacy issues and the decisions that are made by FISA courts, and the information that is given to a judge before one of those orders is passed along and warrants are worked on. I think they have a right to see not just how I thought there are abuses in the process, all up and down the system. So I haven't seen Chairman Nunes yet here at the retreat. I'm not sure if he's here or back working on things in D.C., but I hope that they can do this as swiftly as possible.
Yeah, I think Americans, at least my listeners, are calling in, and they're kind of demanding to see now what's in that memo. What I know that next, let's see, the 8th. So next week is the deadline to either have a DACA bill or the government shuts down again. What looking into your crystal ball, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think they're close to a deal?
Well, I don't think we're going to shut down the government. I think that we certainly made it very clear, and I think even Mitch McConnell did in the Senate, and I've been a critic of his over time. We've made it clear. If you want to negotiate and you want to talk about business and legislation and immigration or anything else, you got to keep the government open.
Right.
So, period, full stop. So we are certainly, I think everyone is talking and dialoguing, debating, negotiating, whatever you want to call it, in good faith on the immigration issue. And you and I have talked about that at length. We maybe have some different views in the House than the Senate, than the president, but all groups are talking, negotiating in good faith. We have time well into March, and even the courts right now are not refusing applications. We know that there is an injunction there. So
right.
There is not harm that is happening. Yes, and it's something that I think Congress should deal with. But you know my feelings about our border security and our border safety first. And the president reiterated that again today about the importance of modernizing our immigration system, but making sure we have one that protects our people first and secures our border. And I think the Democrats have exposed themselves as just really playing political gamesmanship in this area, and they like it as a political football to kick around. They don't want to solve the problem. We're pleased to, and I'm hoping we get to it sooner rather than later.
You got to hope. Briefly, because I don't want to keep you much longer here, can you give me an idea of what, and I know you're in meetings right now probably talking about this, but what are the big agenda items from your perspective once you get past this budget DACA deal?
Well, we certainly had, I thought, one of the most fascinating sessions was early this morning with Secretary of State Rex Tillerson and the Secretary of Defense, James Mattis. Mattis and Tillerson were terrific, and we had a long discussion about our defense needs and the kind of things that we've been working on here in Congress and passing our defense authorizations to make sure that we've got the kind of modernization that's necessary for our military equipment, restoring our and giving our troops a well-deserved pay raise. And this ties directly in, Mark, to the St. Louis region. I mean, this is all also combined with the funding for our new NGA headquarters there in North St. Louis. Those 24 Super Hornets that I have fought for the war fighter, and that also sustain thousands and thousands of jobs in the St. Louis metro area and beyond. So we talked a lot about peace through strength and our enemies in China and North Korea and Russia and in the global war on terror. So I thought that was probably one of the most interesting sessions that we had, and also just to see the the great relationship between the Secretary of State and our SecDef was terrific. There's discussion then also this morning about infrastructure, and had a working session and on how to repair and rebuild our infrastructure. The president is really hot on streamlining the approval process and permitting. That we were able to build the Golden Gate Bridge and Hoover Dam and so many amazing infrastructure projects and things in very small time back in the day. And now it takes years and years and years just to get the permits approved and done. So we did spend some time talking about infrastructure. We hope that's something that can be bipartisan. So right now I think they're talking about workforce development. We've got some sessions on government reform, and it's good. Our colleagues here in the Senate, in the Imperial Chamber, will be leaving here in a little bit. So they've been with us yesterday and yesterday evening and most of the day, but we'll stay into tomorrow morning for our sessions here in the House.
Well, Congresswoman Ann Wagner, listen, thank you for ducking out of the meeting and giving us a few minutes. I appreciate it.
Always pleased to do it. Great to be with you and to talk to your listeners. So thanks again.
Have a safe trip back.
You bet.
All right. See you. Thank you. Ann Wagner calling us there from West Virginia. So, yeah, there you have it. Ann Wagner thinks they should release the memo. She's read the memo, and she seems to agree that she can't think of, a name that stood out that probably hasn't already been floating around out there in the public domain. I hope you paid attention when she said that. In other words, the names that are in the memo aren't going to surprise anybody. These aren't undercover FBI agents nobody's ever heard of before. My suspicion is these are probably some fairly high-profile people, which would explain why some are so dead set against the release of this memo. The cockroaches will start scurrying when daylight hits this thing, which could happen tomorrow. We'll see. All right, let me get to a quick break. How about that? When we come back, we have not talked yet about, and I've tried to avoid talking about this Michael Wolff dude, but you know what? When morning schmo turns on you as a liberal, you know that whatever you've tried to do has probably failed because they support every crazy idea that comes along. They dressed down this Michael Wolff today for his insinuations about Nikki Haley. If you haven't listened to it, I'll play you that and much more when we come back. Stick around.
This is the Mark Cox Show. Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather with Dave Murray.
Kind of a mix of clouds and sunshine. Any spotty sprinkles or flurries would be around in the morning. They're completely out of the picture for the afternoon. It's windy and it's colder. 39 for the high, but look for dropping temperatures much of the afternoon. Tonight, crystal clear skies, very cold, down to 15. Friday, partly sunny, quiet and cold, 32 for the high at best on Friday. I'm Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray for FM News Talk 97.1.
Watch the Mark Cox Show live on the Granite Transformation Studio Cam at 971talk.com/Cox. Log on to our website or use your mobile device to join the daily live stream and watch the show. It's the Granite Transformation Studio Cam at 971talk.com/Cox.
Wouldn't it be nice if summer lasted forever? No more cold winds, snow would be just a memory. It would be nice, but seasons do change, and it's like that for the stock market too. Hi, I'm Thomas Helbig, founder of the Retirement Advisory Group. We've witnessed an almost unprecedented rise in the stock market over the past few years. It seems like warm, sunny financial weather is here to stay. But weather patterns can change, and I've seen what happens when markets experience corrections. Now is the time to find out how your investment portfolio might perform during a market downturn. Give us a call for a free retirement review and find out what investment strategies might be best for you today and into retirement. Don't wait until the temperature of the stock market drops. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of my best-selling book, The Boomer's Guide to a Worry-Free Retirement. Give us a call now at 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494 or online at retirementkey.com. Once again, that's 314-993-9494 or online at retirementkey.com.
My number two does not look like a number two.
I don't know what to call it. Is there a number 3?
Table for 4, please. Anything close to the restroom.
A middle seat with these stomach problems? That's my fear of flying.
Sound like you? If it does, you could be one of the many people with a digestive condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. Even if you don't know what EPI is, you might know the symptoms: frequent diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain. If you have even just one of these symptoms, you could still have EPI, because not everybody experiences EPI the same way, which is why it's so important to open up to your doctor about all your symptoms. And the good news is, EPI is manageable, so don't keep a lid on it. Go to identifyepi.com, complete the symptom checker, and use it to have a conversation with your doctor. Don't keep a lid on it. Visit identifyepi.com. Brought to you by AbbVie.
Michael Proctor, Proctor Drapery, it was so great to have a steak and a drink with you the other night because you are my friend, but you're also my window treatment guy. I need you back at my house.
Looking forward to coming back and helping you with some more window treatments for your home.
You've already done the side panels for my dining room. Beautiful fabric that you've matched perfectly with the wall and the decor and everything else. And, of course, the Norman shutters, as well as the shades in the living room. What else you got?
We need to put some colorful valances and give some pizzazz to your living room, and we need to put some classic-style Roman shade natural woven woods in your sunroom.
And I won't have to go anywhere because you drive right up to my doorstep?
Right up to your doorstep with the mobile design unit and all that it has to offer, the largest selection in St. Louis.
No doubt about it, and the pricing is fantastic, and the only problem I have is you don't work Sundays.
Oh, Jamie, Sundays for sure. I love to work Sundays.
I should have known that, right? 7 days a week. Proctor, it's spelled like doctor, right?
Yes, Jamie, it's Proctor spelled like doctor.
ProctorDrapery.com.
Get ready to start flipping houses overnight for a nice profit. The NV Real Estate Academy is now giving away their Fortunes in Flipping Kit for free. This kit has helped thousands of rookie investors just like you learn how to flip houses for large profits, and it can help you too. Call now to get your free kit and learn the secrets of flipping houses with other people's money, or partnering with the NV Real Estate Academy Network to get your deals funded. Plus, you'll get their new groundbreaking tax lien investing kit that'll show you how to earn government-secure returns up to 18% annually, and how to buy highly discounted tax-delinquent properties. So if you're ready to make some extra cash, call 1-800-614-2119 now to get your free kit. Call 800-614-2119 now, and you'll also get free tickets to a live training with a free meal, a smartwatch, and flash drive loaded with vital information. Plus a national government auction list of properties for sale. All free just for attending. Call 800-614-2119. That's 800-614-2119. Call now.
Oh, we got big surprises.
Weeknights 7 to 9.
I just loved it. And I dream it. It was something that was... I can't.
Sean Hannity.
Wait till you hear what we're doing next week.
On FM News Talk 97.1. To the Mark Cox Show. Follow Mark on Twitter at MarkCox971.
You need to get your head out of your butt, focus on the real issues.
All right. I mentioned before that whenever I end up having one of the Congress people on the show, they tend to go on very wisely social media and Twitter specifically and say, hey, you know what? Coming up in a few minutes, I'm going to be on the Mark Cox Show. If you want to hear me, you can tune in. I appreciate that. Inevitably, some of the left-wing liberal trolls that follow our congresspeople, Congresswoman Wagner and others, Senator Blunt, start attacking her immediately when she puts out something like that. And specifically, there's some crazy lib here from, I don't even know where she's from, but she's a crazy lefty named Angelina. So she tweets out about Congresswoman Wagner here. Why don't you explain why you do nothing to protect kids from gun violence in America? And say we need to spend billions on the military fighting unending and unwinnable wars. And my comment to her is, listen, you left-wing hack. Maybe you can explain why you support and your party supports the murder of babies after the 5th month in the womb. Can you explain that to me? Hundreds of thousands of deaths a year, millions since abortion was approved. Gun deaths pale in comparison to that. That's not to say that you like gun deaths. But look at the murder rate in the city of St. Louis and go out and tell me how many of those have been solved, right? Because many times they're gang-related or it's a crime of passion. There's no way the police can stop it in advance, and the murder happens, and then they go to work they put it on their books and start trying to solve it. You know what? With abortion, we already know who committed the murder. That's pretty simple. We didn't talk with Annie in here the other day. We talked a little bit about the pain bill that the Democrats killed in the Senate that would have stopped this nonsense. Read up about it, about what happens when they have to remove a child after the 5th month. It's sickening. Makes me embarrassed for this country that we have to put up with that, and we can't even have some common sense cap on it. What kind of people are you? It just makes me sick. Speaking of people who make me sick, about this Michael Wolff dude, right? So this guy writes this book, Fire and Fury, and then he goes and does the media rounds. They couldn't wait to have him on this show. They were salivating to have Michael Wolff on, who finally told the truth about Donald Trump and claimed that he was, losing his mind and had dementia and, ate hamburgers all the time and was about to drop dead and tweeted too much and, blah, blah, blah. And it was all garbage. And a few people had the guts to call him out on some of the garbage. But most of them didn't. Most of them treated it like it was completely legitimate. And then when they started finding out that he didn't really have any sources and most of this stuff he made up, a few of them started backing away, but not all of them, right? Michael Wolff, for example, went on the Bill Maher show and hinted in his book. Well, I'll let him explain what he was hinting at in his book.
There is something in the book that I was absolutely sure of, but it was so incendiary that I just didn't have the ultimate proof.
God, considering what he's done, what is it, a woman thing?
Well, I didn't have the blue dress.
No, is it about a woman?
It is.
Oh, it is.
It is.
Oh, it's somebody he's now.
It is.
Oh.
And it's
who is?
Have to read between the lines.
What lines? Tell us the lines. You say it's in the book.
It's toward the end of the book.
Okay, well, it's in the book. Then we go.
You just have to. You'll know it.
I'll know it.
Now that I've told you, when you hit that paragraph, you're going to say bingo.
Okay.
So this is what he said, and then Nikki Haley comes out and makes a statement that the allegations by Michael Wolff are completely untrue. Now, he doesn't name her by name, but apparently everybody who read the piece of trash book knew who he was talking about. He was insinuating that the president was having an extramarital affair with Nikki Haley. That's what he's, just to sell more books, that's the garbage he's spewing on the Bill Maher show, who was just eating this stuff up. So he has no fear of going on friendly media, so he goes on Morning Schmo. And apparently Mika Brzezinski does have some standards, the feminist in her, if she thinks that you're somehow, she didn't care what he said about the president, what kind of lies he spewed about the president. She was mad that he made some allegation against Nikki Haley. Listen to this exchange.
I didn't go after her, and secondly, what I meant was I found it puzzling that she would deny something she was not accused of.
Wait a minute. Can I just step in here? Let's put this next question on the entire credibility of your book, which was written really quickly.
Excuse me.
Your book.
Yes.
Let's put it on this next question. Do you regret inferring anything about Nikki Haley?
I didn't infer anything about Nikki Haley. What I inferred was that the president is that many of the people around the president believe he is still involved with various women.
No, but you said she spent a lot of time in private time with.
That's exactly what people report. And specifically, that was about her bid to become the Secretary of State. So everywhere in the White House, they were suddenly in quite a panic that this was actually happening,
Michael,
which is why they pushed Pompeo out.
She has embraced it. I'm going to go as far as to say that you might be having a fun time playing a little game, dancing around this, but you're slurring a woman. It's disgraceful.
Mika, again, she has been accused of nothing. She has decided to deny what she has not been accused of.
Right.
Certainly, I didn't accuse her of this.
But wait, are you suggesting that the language is not ambiguous in any way in the things that you've said and the way you've stated it?
Are you kidding? You're on the set of Morning Joe. We don't BS here.
Well, read me the language.
Are you kidding me? I'm not reading you anything.
Play the Bill Maher.
If you don't get it, and you don't get what we're talking about, I'm sorry. This is awkward. You're here on the set with us, but we're done.
She finally she's so offended that Tony Colombo's in the studio with us now. She is so offended that he might have accused a woman of something. She didn't care that through the other 470 pages of the book, he completely slandered the President of the United States because she hates him.
Everywhere Michael Wolff goes, he looks like an idiot. He comes off.
He just looks like a complete idiot.
He does.
I couldn't agree with you more.
When you write a book and you say, and somebody says, well, is what you said in the book true? And you say, well, if you read it and it sounds true to you, then it's true. Then it's your truth. That is not how reporting works. That's not how biographies work. It's not how documentaries work. It's not how that is supposed to go.
Yeah, I agree completely. Hey, you know what? I fessed up to this earlier. I put the Twitter poll out from after the State of the Union, and I didn't realize that it had to go for 24 hours.
Well, it doesn't have to, but
I couldn't figure out how to fix it on my phone, so it didn't end until like 11 o'clock last night.
Right.
By that point, there were 450 votes.
That's amazing.
There were another
100 votes or
100
50
votes or so
like that,
after we talked about the poll results.
That is great.
And the results were about the same. About 77, 78% of people, 79 actually, said the president did excellent. Which almost matches the Huffington Post poll, which must drive them nuts at the Huffington Post.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they were sure everybody'd flunk him on it.
I think a lot of people on the other side are upset that he did so well.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And that then the reaction has been so positive. It's kind of like the government shutdown. They thought they could hang that on Trump and the Republicans, and it backfired on them.
Didn't work. That's true.
It's happening again.
What's on the DGS today?
Think Tank. Think Tank, 5 o'clock. Crane Durham, Mike Colonna, and yours truly will be with Dave Glover and the Think Tank, and that is always one of the best segments we do all week, so I'm really looking forward to that discussion. So
ought to be fun.
It really is time for the people of America to take up pitchforks.
It is. I agree, Claire. All right, we got to run. Hopefully tomorrow we get the memo.
No kidding.
We'll see you tomorrow, noon to 3.
FM News Talk 97.1.
You're retiring in the next 5 years. We need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, First Vice President Investments with Stifel and host of On the Money, heard every Saturday from 11 till noon on FM News Talk 97.1. Retirement is a huge step, and when it comes to investing your retirement assets, you can't afford to make mistakes. It's vitally important that you work with an experienced professional to guide you through important retirement decisions. If you're retiring soon, we should meet to develop a clear plan for your retirement goals. Your meeting is an opportunity to understand your retirement situation and discuss how you can proceed. Of course, your consultation is free of charge and requires no obligation on your part. If you're retiring in the next 5 years, now is the time to start planning. To schedule your free retirement plan review, visit bobstockdale.com or call me at 636-448-7655. That's bobstockdale.com or 636-448-7655. Stifel, member FINRA, SIPC, and NYSE.
Debt can be stressful, especially credit card debt with its outrageous interest rates and fees. Did you know, unless you pay your bill in full, you get charged interest, even on the part of the bill you do pay? Don't take my word for it. It's right there on your statement. I'm Michael Mohan with Community Mortgage. You don't need to live under the stress of debt when there is a very good chance I can help you get rid of it by using the equity in your home. Consolidating that debt into a fixed-rate, tax-deductible loan in the threes will free up hundreds of dollars every month. And we can do this without adding any closing costs onto your loan. Plus, you'll skip 2 months of mortgage payments. Don't wait any longer. Call now for a straightforward review of your loan options. The call is free, but the savings could be life-changing. Remember, whether you are buying, refinancing, or need to consolidate debt, call me, Michael Mohan, 314-336-6050, 314-336-6050, or online at communitymortgagestl.com.
Community Mortgage LLC, APRs in the threes, NMLS 250353-22414.
KFTK FM, Florissant, KFTK AM East St. Louis, K254CR St. Louis.
The Mark Cox Show, brought to you by Thomas Helbig, the official St. Louis financial advisor of The Mark Cox Show.
Find everything Mark Cox at 971talk.com/Cox. FM News Talk 97.1.
A controversial memo could soon be made public. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Tomorrow appears to be the target for the memo showing possible FBI misconduct to be released.
Or at least that's when the White House will transmit the president's approval or lack of objection to the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence.
Fox's John Roberts at the White House.
Our understanding is that the president may actually go so far as to declassify this memo, which means that it could come out almost immediately. But if he just merely does not object to it, that triggers a process at the House Intelligence Committee, which then may take a few more hours, maybe a day, before that memo would actually become public.
The FBI has expressed concerns about omissions. Democrats say the memo is misleading, and they accuse Republicans of last-minute edits before it was sent to the White House. Republicans on the House Intelligence Committee say minor changes were made at the request of Democrats and the FBI. There's no word yet on a motive in the shooting at a California middle school. The suspect, a 6th grade girl. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal, live in L.A.
Lisa, the 12-year-old girl is suspected of opening fire inside a middle school classroom west of downtown Los Angeles. She is in custody. 2 15-year-olds were hit by gunfire. A boy who was struck in the head is in critical condition. A girl was hit in the wrist.
We do not know yet. In the investigation, hopefully we will find out when the right time is, how our young person on this campus ended up having the ability to have access to a firearm.
Yet LA Schools Police Chief Steve Zipperman would not answer questions about the school's random metal detector search policy or its effectiveness. Lisa.
Thanks, Jessica. A mixed finish on Wall Street. The Dow up 36 points, but the NASDAQ and the S&P both finishing lower. Fox News, fair and balanced.
When you're hiring, you want qualified candidates fast, and it can be hard to know where to find them. More than 3 million businesses use Indeed.com, the world's #1 job site. Whether you need entry-level or highly skilled employees, Indeed helps you find great talent and make the right hire. Indeed is offering new users a $50 credit to give their first job post premium visibility as a sponsored job. Redeem this offer at Indeed.com/promo. That's Indeed.com/promo. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
As a small business owner, you make every dollar count. So what could you do with $10? Go to Vistaprint.com today and you'll get 500 high-quality custom business cards for only $9.99. That's less than 2 cents per card. And at Vistaprint, your satisfaction is absolutely guaranteed. So it's never been easier to turn 500 strangers into connections. Just visit Vistaprint.com and use promo code 3030 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 3030.
97.1 News Time 3:03. Good afternoon. I'm Jason Church. At last update, the St. Charles County Bomb Disposal Unit was on the scene at the Weldon Springs Shell gas station on Highway 94, removing a piece of military ordnance from a vehicle. A man was taken into custody earlier this afternoon after he was reported as suicidal. The item being removed is said to potentially be a World War II bazooka round. Businesses in the area have been evacuated. Missouri State Auditor Nicole Galloway says Governor Eric Greitens' proposed budget is, quote, irresponsible, and she's glad lawmakers are saying no to the governor's request to borrow $250 million to cover a short-term budget gap. Galloway claims that this practice often results in late refunds for taxpayers. Black History Month starts today, and to honor the observation, the red, black, and green Pan-African flag was raised at City Hall this morning. The St. Louis African American Aldermanic Caucus says the flag honors contributions that African Americans have made to St. Louis. This news update brought to you by the Edge for Men. Guys, get your edge back today. Visit edgeformen.com or call 314-736-4MEN.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-333-1750. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-333-1750. That's 800-333-1750 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-333-1750. 800-333-1750.
Charlie Meyer is a farmer and our state representative. He has a record of fighting for Southern Illinois and opposing Chicago bailouts. Charlie Meyer voted against the final passage of the income tax increase and supports eliminating the tax hike. This year, Meyer secured record funding for our schools. Charlie Meyer, he's pro-life, pro-family, and will protect the Second Amendment. Charlie Meyer for state representative. He represents our Republican values.
Paid for by citizens for Charlie Meyer.
Journey. Def Leppard. 2018's Tour of the